And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Monday, April 13th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with you for the next 2 hours. On today's show, we will recap what was a jam-packed sports weekend. Rory McIlroy has won the Masters for the second consecutive year, making history at Augusta. We will recap a thrilling final round. We'll also talk about some of the Longhorn sports from the weekend. Texas football held its penultimate scrimmage of the spring on Saturday. We'll talk about that. It was an epic portal weekend for Sean Miller and Texas men's basketball. We'll talk about that. A not-so-epic weekend for the Longhorn Diamond sports. We'll get into that. Plus, the NBA's regular season is over. Major League Baseball is in full swing. And another edition of the BBK News, including an update on the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel situation. Oh, yeah, a lot to dive into on a Monday show. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend, and we appreciate you all starting your weeks off with us. How are you today, my man?
I am good. I'm a little waterlogged from the weekend, but that's okay. Got a chance to be out in the garden, get some of my last spring stuff in the ground. I planted 2 trees, so I'm good to go. Should have planted them a little bit earlier, but man, it's nice to have the ground that's moist and you can get through this ground right now. And it's going to stay a little bit wet too throughout the. Going to get one or 2 days this week, but the rest of the days looks like rain again. Rain, rain, rain. I'm not going to say go away. It's fine as long as it comes in the way it's coming. These kind of little, there's places out here in Dripping Springs we had just a couple downpours, but not a lot of straight out, 20 minutes, half-hour rain. There were some portions in the city that got lots in our area, but it's just kind of off and on. I live out here in this little hamlet, so it doesn't seem to be that way. You live in the weather mecca where you live. So
yes, the weather mecca of the world, South Austin, Texas, USA, America.
I'm pretty sure you got some weird stuff going on down there.
Plenty of water down here this weekend.
You weren't in town, though. You were out of town, too.
Well, I left Saturday around lunchtime, and I came back yesterday around lunchtime. So I was out of town for 24 hours, but spent enough time here this weekend to know what the weather was like. And I got dumped on driving back from the Metroplex yesterday. I can tell you that. It's raining up there. It's raining everywhere right now, but
yeah.
Hey, springtime. That's what it's supposed to do, right?
Hey, April showers bring May flowers.
Austin Powers.
Or bring May heat.
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually how it works around here.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
All right. It was a good weekend. It was really good watching. I watched a lot of golf, and I tried to watch baseball. Every time I watched it, it was like, I will be back in 15 minutes, or we got a little bit of a rain delay, or we should return, but we won't return. And last night was a long wait for them to cancel again. That's all about TV and money.
Yeah, it seems like you work for the SEC with your horrible weather guessing because
– Wait a minute. I told you Friday and Saturday would be – I said Sunday, look out for Sunday. And Sunday was what it was. You sat around thinking you were going to play. I said Sunday's going to be a wash. I said Friday and Saturday should be okay. And it was. Games got played.
Yeah, well, there was a 2-hour delay in the first inning on Saturday, which was a
joke. Have another hot dog. Have another burrito or something.
It pales in comparison to what happened yesterday. The series finale of Texas and Texas A&M was scheduled to start at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and they kept pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. The latest scheduled start time was 9:30 p.m., and then at 9:27 p.m., they came out and announced that, yeah, we're not going to play this today. Game's canceled.
I'm like, I was just thinking, come on, SEC. I know you're trying to get that TV money, but as a group, we're only 2 hours away from them. You could play that on a Wednesday sometime later on down the line. I mean, I know you want to get it in, but 9 o'clock at night, you should have canceled that game a long time ago and said, you guys go back. We'll find another day to play this game. Well, it's not like we got to come across the country to play this game. It's just right down the road. Take a bus.
It's tough, because of the way these schedules are already set, right? This isn't Major League Baseball where these guys play every day. They do have class, as you like to bring up.
Oh, that's true. We don't want our student athletes to be missing a bunch of class. I can understand that. That makes sense. Way to go, SEC. Way to think of the student athlete, as a matter of fact. Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood. Of course, good day to the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you so much for what you do. We do appreciate what you're doing each and every day. I know you're putting your lives in danger for all of us. We appreciate that. And your families, we appreciate your families sharing you with all of us. And do be careful, please, folks.
Well, I guess we'll open up with some Texas baseball since we're already down that path. And it is
Yes.
a Monday. Everybody hates Monday, and it's kind of doom and gloom outside. So why not start with some doom and gloom from the weekend? Yeah, they only played 2 in College Station, but the Longhorns lost both.
Probably better they didn't play 3.
Maybe. I mean, you always feel good with Dylan Volantis on the mound on a Sunday, as he may be the best Sunday starter in the country. But considering the way Friday and really Saturday's game went, may be a good thing that Texas did not have to play Texas A&M one more time, because, look, the first game was close. It was 9-8. I mean, there were 4 ties. There were 6 lead changes. The Longhorns had their chances in that one, and the bullpen resorted back to its ugly ways. And honestly, Ruger Riojas, I didn't think was good enough either. But it was a close game, and it's like, all right, let's just bounce back tomorrow. Saturday featured a 2-hour rain delay in the first inning. For some reason, Luke Harrison, who started the game for Texas, who got into a jam right before the weather delay even happened, came back out after the weather, and he was terrible. The Longhorns went down 8-0, and that was a total, I guess, 8-1. Texas actually led 1-0 in that game, but they gave up 8 runs in the bottom of the first inning. So it was basically over after the first inning. And that game was a wash, no pun intended. And then, yeah, yesterday, I mean, just a joke of a weekend all around for Texas, a bad look for the SEC. And we'll see. I mean, as of now, it's a cancellation of the game. There are no plans, at least at this moment, to make it up. Maybe at some point they do, but I'll be honest, Buck, I'd be surprised if that ends up happening.
Yeah, there was a lot of free passes on Saturday. I mean, they were just walking guys. Here's a base for you and a base for you. Guys were coming up and they weren't even swinging. They couldn't get anybody out.
Yeah, well, Saturday was ugly, but Friday's the one where, Texas had a few leads, and Ruger Riojas, again, he couldn't get shut down innings. Felt like whenever Texas was able to get something going offensively, you would like for your ace, your Friday night guy, to go out there and put up a couple of zeros to, get your bats back in the batter's box quickly and carry over the momentum from the previous inning. Riojas couldn't do that, but it was Hayden LaFew and Brett Crossland, 2 of Jim Schlossnagel's most reliable bullpen arms, who came in, and I think they walked 5 and hit 1.
Yeah, the big lefty came in, and he couldn't. The guys just stood up there. They weren't even attempting to swing, BK. They were just standing in the batter's box, playing around with the bat. They said, that guy can't throw a strike.
Yeah, Hayden LaFew was terrible. And those guys combined to get 4 outs and, again, put a bunch of guys on for free. And, A&M scored 3 runs. I think it was the bottom of the 6th inning in Friday night's game. They scored 3 runs without a hit, and they took the lead, and they never gave it up. Texas had back-to-back home runs in the top of the 9th inning to make it interesting, make it a 1-run game. But ultimately, the walks, they had some defensive miscues. I mean, Jaden Duplantier, hard to blame him too much, but he never saw a fly ball to him in right field that led to an easy triple, which led to an A&M run. Casey Borba had a throwing error in the 8th inning, which proved costly. That led to a run, and considering the Longhorns lost that game by a run, that was obviously not good. And then, just walks and hit batters and wild pitches and pass balls, and it was sloppy. And it's a sign of something that's happened way too much. Look, this was the Longhorns' first series loss of the year. They're still tied for 2nd place in the SEC. They did drop a couple of spots in the top 25, but they're ranked number 4, so they're still top 5. Like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Sucks losing to A&M. That's never fun. But look, the Longhorns have played 5 conference series. They've lost the opener in 4 of them. Now, this was the first series that they lost, so they've usually been able to put it behind them.
Right.
But Ruger Riojas, early in the year, we were talking about him as one of the best pitchers in college baseball, and Texas can't win a game when he's on the mound. It's not all his fault, but they can't win a game with him on the mound.
Yeah, he's struggling, and he's struggling like immediately in these games, like right off the get. Like, dude, come on, make them put the ball in play.
Yeah, I mean, his first 2 innings were fine, and then things started to unravel after that. But Yeah, I mean, it's just like the South Carolina start last weekend for him was really
Right.
bad. And again, I like 5+ innings, gave up 5 runs. It was an improvement over what he did in Columbia, but still, yeah. Look, A&M's a really good team. They're now ranked in the top 10. They have one of the best offenses in the country. So
Yeah, when those dudes, when those guys, when they're taking bases, but when they're swinging the bats and you put it right over the plate,
yeah,
they're good
yeah,
and making contact.
yeah. I mean, they average almost 10 runs a game. So
Yeah.
like you tip your cap. Those guys are on scholarship too. But yeah, I mean, you'd like to get a little more from your ace. And then again, your bullpen, like the 2 previous weeks, the sweep against Oklahoma, taking 2 of 3 in South Carolina, your bullpen was great. And you were hoping, hey, maybe these guys have turned a corner after the early season woes. But again, the ugly mistakes, the free passes, the hit batters, all of those things showed up, especially in that Friday game. And that proved very costly.
Yeah, that was not a total that was not a total team effort there.
Yeah, it was a total team suck there. Here
Yeah.
was Jim Schlossnagle after Saturday's game. He was asked if he was surprised by how bad his pitching had been in the first 2 games. Ultimately, ended up being the only 2 games of the series.
Well, on one hand, I still believe we have very good starting pitching. But 2 things can happen: 1, they can have a bad day, and 2, the other team they have scholarships and NIL too. So it doesn't matter. And certainly A&M's very, very, very talented, and they hit a lot of balls hard, especially early on, and very offensive ballpark, that's for sure, and had the momentum of their crowd. So yes, it's the game. It doesn't surprise me because it is baseball, but certainly I expect them to pitch better, and they expect to pitch better next week.
Yeah, he expects his team to play better, period.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Situation much better than that.
Not for sure. It's disappointing because, I mean, look, it's a rivalry series. You never want to lose it. But obviously, with all the extra stuff with Jim Schlossnagle's return to College Station, we knew the atmospheres would be crazy, and they were. But, you know, you were hoping Texas would play a little better. You were hoping some of those players would have their managers back. Like, the decision I'm going to be critical of Jim Schlossnagle on is the decision to bring Luke Harrison back after the weather delay on Saturday. I thought that was stupid in real time, and I know hindsight's 20/20, but again, I felt like that was a bad move. But I think he probably felt that way because he didn't trust his bullpen very much. But Friday, I thought like his bullpen decisions were right. It's just the guys weren't throwing strikes.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, we talked about, hey, have your skippers back. You really like him. You want to play for him. You know this means a lot more to him than probably anybody else. Play a little better. And they didn't.
No, they just didn't play well.
They didn't play well. So, again, they're fine. Tied for second in the SEC. Still a top 5 team in the country. They got to put it behind them. You know, A&M Corpus comes to town tomorrow. And then Alabama, more importantly, is here this weekend in the SEC. And Bama's top 5 in the conference standings right now. So it's a big one for the race for a league crown. But yeah, look, every SEC team has lost a series now at this point in the year. So Texas, you bounce back. You're still in a good spot. But that was undoubtedly frustrating over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, weather delays don't help either. I mean, all that waiting around and, you know, and then you play and then you got to wait again. You play the first inning, then you got to wait again. It's just 2 hours. That's a lot of waiting around.
Yeah. But look, the Aggies had to deal with it too. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they had the same exact thing.
So you're right. No, it's annoying, and it was not handled well by the SEC. I do not disagree with that at all. And we'll talk with Greg Swindell at the top of the second hour and get his thoughts on the Schlossnagle decisions, the weather. I mean, he's been through that, so I'll ask how tough it is as a pitcher to deal with weather delays and just as a team to deal with that kind of on and off. But, yeah, I mean, the Aggies had to deal with that too. It's just they didn't play well. You said it. They didn't play well enough to beat a very good team in a very hostile environment on the road. And again, part of me is like, I would have loved to have Sunday because it's Dylan Volantis, but the way that series was going, it might not be the worst thing in the world that there was no finale.
Yeah, if you're going to replay that on a Wednesday sometime during, you know, in May, sometime if you get a day that you can play it, hey, let's just jump on a bus and get this one in. They'll still have the crowd. They'll still have the crowd there. It'll still be nuts.
Oh, of course. Of course it will. Do you want to go back into the Lions' Den, though?
If it really ends up meaning something, which it could.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I wonder, like, if there are 2 teams tied, I guess I don't know if there'd be a tie. Well, Texas and Texas A&M are tied for second place right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
if somehow at the end of the year, those two teams are tied for first, like would they probably just split the crown.
Oh no, A&M would like that too much. No, you got to play that game.
You know the Aggies would choke in that one if it was a one game for the SEC. We've seen it in football the last 2 years, haven't we?
Yes.
It'd be the same thing in baseball. But yeah, I don't know. Like it'd be fun if they played
I
it.
mean, when I was
Obviously,
watching the game on Friday and
Mhm.
then part of it on Saturday, I was like, just guys, let's not put them on base. And like I said, I didn't think the Aggies were swinging the bat particularly well. They're just giving a lot of freebies,
Uh,
just way too many freebies.
yeah, no, that was the problem. Again, that 3-run inning because Texas had a lead going into the bottom of the sixth. They were up 6-4, and it's great. Rugrioja's still on the mound, and the bats had just come to life a little bit. I don't want to say taking the crowd out of the game, but you had quieted them for a moment. And then
Yes.
that bottom of the sixth inning, again, for the Aggies, they score 3 runs to go up 7-6, and they didn't need a hit. It was walks, it was wild pitches, it was pass balls. I mean, they hit a sacrifice fly, so they did something with the bats, but just to basically give that game away. And then again, a couple of defensive miscues that led to 2 more runs. On a game you lose by 1, it's easy to
Yes.
look back and point to each of those things individually, collectively, even worse. So, yeah, frustrating. And we know this team is capable of playing better. I don't know if it was the crowd or, again, they just struggle in these series openers. Even when they're at home, they've only won one of them so
Right.
far in conference play. That's maybe some sort of mental block happening with this team. It's funny. We asked Greg about that last week. I might have to ask him the same question. Like, what's going on with these Friday night games? It's weird. So, all right, that was bad. We'll talk more Texas baseball, sadly, again later in the show. Texas softball, they lost their rivalry weekend series to Oklahoma. At least they won a game. They salvaged the sweep yesterday,
Yes.
walk-off. They needed a pinch hit, game-tying home run from Hannah Wells in the 6th to force extras, and then Katie Stewart, a 2-run walk-off home run in the bottom of the 8th to help the Longhorns avoid the sweep. But yeah, no Cabo Bob's gift cards for the people this week.
No, sorry about that, people.
The saddest part of all of this.
We needed Scotty Scheffler to do something, and
Well, he was great on Saturday and Sunday, but yeah, not great on Friday. All right, we'll shift gears. We'll get to the Masters here in a second. Obviously, Rory McIlroy claiming his 2nd consecutive green jacket, making some history. Before we shift gears, though, Buck, how about an early round of sponsor shout-outs?
well, see our friends over at Sue Patrick since 1975 with the incredible selection of Longhorn apparel, of course, collectibles, accessories, and they've got everything you're looking for. Tons of Texas-themed gifts and items for you right now. Jess and Jane short sleeve tops for the ladies out there, house slippers, you name it. They got all the patterns, all the colors that you're looking for, all the ball caps that you want, of course, that are going to fit you right now. And $59. How about this? Online free shipping orders of $59 or more online, free curbside pickup, and plenty of parking space. You want to get those T-shirts. You want to get ready for the summer with those summer polos, of course, men's and women's golfing outfits. They've got it at Sue Patrick, folks. And it is the Jellycat headquarters. As I said, plenty of parking there. They've been doing it for 50 years in Central Texas. It's Sue Patrick. For more information, go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. Rocking Sue Patrick lids this morning. Like you said, the best selection of Texas gear. And gear up for Fan Day. I think we're going to be out there later this week.
Fan Day. Yes, indeed.
Fan Day coming up this Saturday at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. Shout out to Sue Patrick. Also, some love to Altstadt Beer as well. I was having dinner up in McKinney, north of Dallas on Saturday. You know what I saw on the menu at the restaurant?
Altstadt Beer.
The Altstadt Beer, the Altstadt Kolsch on tap. You know what I drank on Saturday night?
All of it.
Yeah, tap was kicked at the end of the night. Oh, man, nothing left in the keg. But Altstadt's everywhere. It's all over the great state of Texas, and with good reason. It is a damn good Beer. Hopefully, whatever you were doing this weekend, if you were watching the Longhorns on the diamond, you maybe needed some Altstadt to help get you through it. For your Masters watching, whatever you had going on. And guess what? The sports doesn't stop. You've got the NBA playoffs starting this weekend. You've got the Stanley Cup playoffs starting this weekend. Of course, college baseball and softball will continue. Major League Baseball going on. Lots of great sports happening. Heck, you're going to be tailgating this weekend for Fan Day. Make sure you show up with the Altstadt Beer. Tons of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. Brewed locally in Fredericksburg. Again, easy to find all across the Lone Star State. It's my beer of choice. It should be yours as well. It is Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Love that Altstadt Beer for sure. See our friends over at Woods Comfort Systems. Saw a couple of those Woods Comfort System trucks around. You know, we've had lots of rain, so some of the pumps may be around. You know, you may have some problems with plumbing. Folks, they do plumbing too. Woods Comfort Systems does plumbing now. They just started that, and they are fantastic at that. If they do the same job they do when it comes to heating and air conditioning, then you're going to be calling on Woods Comfort System. If anything happens with your indoor plumbing, don't you touch it. Call in the technicians at Woods Comfort Systems. I have for my air conditioning and heating units there. They come twice a year. Their technicians are fantastic. They come on time, and you know what I like about them? They leave on time.
There you go.
They're not hanging out. They got places and work to do. And folks, they've been doing it in Central Texas for 70 years. Nobody does it better than Woods Comfort Systems.
Yeah, they're not trying to hang out, sit on the couch, and
No.
watch a game with you or something.
No. Get going. Get out of here.
Hey, man, I just fixed your AC unit. Can you not give me a beer to drink before I leave?
Get out.
Yeah. I've had some apartments maintenance guys come in, and then they see the AV Consultations TV setup that I have.
Oh, yeah. Well, they want to stick around with you because they know you won't change the light bulb.
Oh, that's sick. Wow. This is awesome, man. Yeah, this is great. They're like just waiting for me to be like, yeah, sit down. You know, let's watch some games together. It's like, look, I enjoy being the envy of folks with my TV setup, but I don't want the apartment's maintenance jabronis hanging around here. All right.
They got
Get
keys to your place.
Yeah, shoot. AV Consultations. I talk about my 4 TV setup all the time. The Buck talks about his 85-inch TV setup all the time. We love them. They're the best at what they do, and they've been hooking up Central Texas since 1988. So if you want that man cave like I've got, if you want the woman cave, if you want the giant screen, if you want the home theater room, if you want the patio TV setup with the surround sound speakers, doesn't matter. AV Consultations can do all of that for you, plus whole home lighting. They do surveillance systems to keep you and your loved ones safe. They can put a golf simulator in your home. They do it all. All you have to do is give them a call at 512-255-8678 or find out more online at avconsultations.com. All right. Little Masters conversation. We'll dive back into the Longhorn sports a little bit later in the program. Rory McIlroy repeating at Augusta, shooting 12 under par, one shot better than Scotty Scheffler to claim his second straight green jacket. He was up 6 shots after Friday, a record lead going into the weekend. Struggled on Saturday, coughed up the lead. Yesterday was very entertaining. There were 4 different golfers to hold at least a share of the lead during the final round. But other guys started to falter a little bit, and Rory was able to find his game enough. The bogey on the 72nd hole, despite a horrible tee shot that found its way into the pine straw, was able to fend off a fast-charging lifetime Longhorn Scotty Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy, Buck, becoming the 4th golfer ever to repeat at Augusta.
Yeah, I mean, he really, you know, on Friday, I thought this guy's about to walk away with this thing. Nobody's going to catch him. He'll be, you know, Saturday, he'll pad his lead, and Sunday, he'll just hold on, and nobody's still going to catch him. But he let a lot of guys back into it. A lot of guys didn't take advantage of it. I mean, Rosie, I thought was going to – he just – forget it. You're not going to see Rosie up there anymore. He's done.
Well, you're going to see him up there every year. You're just not going to see him win it.
No.
That's his 5th top 5 finish at the Masters, and he was one of those guys who – he had a 2-shot lead at one point yesterday.
2 shots.
2 shots?
And that was starting on the back 9, was it not?
Yeah, at the turn. And then he had 3 bogeys on the back 9. He did have a birdie, but still +2 on the back 9, where if he shot even par, I think he would have been tied with Rory. Obviously, anything better than that, then he'd be donning the green jacket today. But yeah, you feel for him. I mean, he had that heartbreaking finish last year, finishing second to Rory in the playoff, and then he was right there again. And look, he's won majors before. He's won a lot of big events before, but something about the Masters, the pressure, I don't know what it is. He just can't find a way. It's like Lefty at the U.S. Open. They just can't find a way to get it done when they need to there.
Yeah, the shot that Rory on number 12 at the par 3, where he went over the right side at the pin, and that ball I don't think he meant for that ball to be that far right, but it did take a nice bounce to the right once it hit. And it didn't hit the middle of, they kept saying, well, it hit and spun over there. The ball didn't hit in the middle of where the bunker was. That thing was on the right side and spun over. That one kind of I wonder if that just got a little bit loose for him.
He caught a couple of breaks too. Now, again, he was really bad on Saturday, and he got off to a bad start yesterday, right? He had that double at 4 and then bogeyed again on 6, and it's like,
Dude was in the pine straw at all the par 5s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, he just couldn't hit the fairways hardly.
Well, he did in the back 9 yesterday, like when he absolutely needed to find the driver. For the most part, he did. Again, 18 was not a good tee shot at all, but he caught some breaks, like 16, the par 3 16, where he barely cleared the water. And it's like, if that shot had any spin, like most of his shots do, most of these golfers put some back spin on these balls. If that shot had any spin whatsoever, it goes into the water, and forget a playoff, like Scotty wins this thing outright because of that. But the ball just hit and died right there. And it felt like destiny may have been on Rory's side.
He didn't get any air under that chip. That was like a line drive that had the momentum going forward, because if that's one of those where you just mishit it and you got air under it, that thing's not going to bounce forward. That's going to bounce backwards.
Yeah, and somehow it didn't. And for Rory McIlroy, we'll let you hear from the winner in a moment. But yeah, the 4th golfer in the last 40 years to lead or co-lead after every round of the Masters. So despite the struggles over the weekend, he was so dominant on Thursday and Friday that he still had a lead, or at least a share of the lead, after every single day. And again, the 4th golfer ever to repeat, the first since Tiger in 01-02. And how about this list? Jack, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, legends of the game. Those are your 4 to do it in back-to-back years. And unfortunately, we were robbed of the awkward moment of one man putting on a jacket on another man yesterday inside Butler Capitol. It's one of my favorite moments of the year, and maybe the most awkward sports moment on television of the entire year, every year. And we didn't get it, thanks to Rory.
I know. I mean, one of the most uncomfortable ones I'd ever watched, when BJ Singh had to put it on Tiger Woods. BJ hated losing to Tiger, and he lost to him all the time. And he hated putting that jacket on him.
It's always awkward. It's always weird. And just I love that they do it. I hope they never get rid of it, just because of how cringy it is, as the kids say. Here's Rory McIlroy yesterday after winning the Masters for the 2nd straight year.
I thought it was so difficult to win last year because of trying to win the Masters and the Grand Slam. And then this year I realized it's just really difficult to win the Masters. I tried to convince myself it was both, but just incredible. I obviously did the bulk of my work on Thursday and Friday. I don't think I would have believed anyone if they said to me, all you have to do is shoot even par for the weekend and you'll win. I definitely thought I was going to need to go out there and at least shoot a couple of under par scores. But just absolutely delighted to be able to get it done. Having a 6-shot lead going into the weekend, it would have been a bitter pill to swallow if I wasn't able to get myself over the finish line.
Oh, he had to after he had that lead. I mean, man, oh man.
Yeah, it would have gone down as one of the worst chokes in Masters and maybe major history if he
was trying. He got a couple when he got that double bogey on the 2-putt. I'm like, oh, it just edged it. And then he comes back and he really didn't take his time and edged another one. And then I love when they go to the 3rd time, BK, and they just kind of tap in and they don't really think about it. That's the one I like that hits the edge and goes. That 3rd miss to get yourself a triple, or to get a snowman when they 1-foot that thing, 1-legged up, and they try to tap it in instead of making sure. All those putts are moving. Every putt that those guys looked like they had were just moving somewhere. and just off by just grazing the edge all day, all weekend long. What a
Yeah,
place.
those greens are not easy. Now, they were easier than usual because there was no rain this week
Right.
in Augusta, which, led to some low scores. And but even then, I mean, it's so hilly there. The greens are absolutely insane. So you saw guys missing putts left and right. But Rory just held off everybody else. It was a fast charging field for sure. Now, Scotty Scheffler, he's going to be kicking himself for that Friday round that he had 74. He had a streak of 11 straight under par rounds at Augusta. And then Friday, things went awry. He was great on Saturday, great on Sunday. Actually saw this stat. The first golfer since 1942, and that's as far back as they could track the Masters. The first golfer since basically ever to not have a bogey on Saturday or Sunday. And you would think that type of statistic is good enough to get him his third green jacket. But again, Friday was so bad, and obviously Rory was so dang good in the first two rounds that just a little too much for Scotty to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I thought at the par 3 16, I thought that's when he overshot that green and that ball ended up over there where the patrons were, and that shot he had to make coming down that hill. Boy, that's a scary one right there. Of where you have to put that ball. That is a great shot that he made. Hell, he damn near made the shot coming off that hill. I mean, if you're off by 6 inches, there's no telling where that ball comes. It comes sideways back to you almost.
And he had,
man.
Sorry, Buck.
That was incredible.
Yeah, he had those back-to-back birdies on 15 and 16 yesterday, and then he had that birdie putt on 17 that missed by 3 inches.
Yeah.
Like, it just, again, it felt like destiny was on Rory's side, and Scotty had a few of those where, look, Scotty's bad. He's the number one player in the world for a reason. Like, when he is on, there's nobody that can touch him, and he was on the last 2 days, but it's 4 rounds, so you have a bad round in a tournament like this.
His Thursdays right now have been not very good.
His Thursday didn't kill him, though. He was 2 under on Thursday. It was the Friday where things fell apart, but you're right. This year, I mean, Thursdays have been a struggle for him for the most part. But yeah, Fridays where he's kicking himself. Here was Scotty with CBS Sports yesterday, shortly after his round ended and after Rory was able to tap in to win by 1 shot. Here's Scotty talking about his second place finish.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 days, I played what I felt was really solid on Thursday, and then Friday, with the softer greens. That round really hurt, especially the mistakes I made on the back 9. But overall, over the weekend, I put up a good fight. I did a lot of good stuff in order to give myself a chance, and just ultimately came up a couple shots short.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to round into form, and it's going to be, he'll defend the U.S. Open now for him.
Well, that's what he needs for the
Grand Slam.
I think, right?
I think so. That's the one he needs.
Okay.
So maybe he didn't. Maybe he's not defending that, which I thought there was one that he would be defending. No, it's not the U.S. Open. No, he needs one of them. This is the one he'll need, I believe. I think you're right. On Saturday, BK, I never saw Rory dump the ball at number 11, the par 4 down the hill where the pond was. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that shot originally. I saw that later on that day. I must have done something. Mm. How he came that close to why is he dumping that ball in that water? I saw guys bailing out to the right on the other side of the bunker all week.
There was a moment, I'm not kidding, there was a moment yesterday, again, Rory birdied 3, but doubled 4 and then bogeyed 6. And I'm like, dude, he's going to finish outside of the top 5 here. Like, it looked like he was starting a meltdown. And again, the way Cam Young and his group was playing, the way Rosie was playing, the way Scotty was playing, hell, Russell Henley made a big charge yesterday. It's like, Rory's in some serious trouble here. But to his credit, he bounced back with back-to-back birdies and, didn't bogey again until the 72nd hole when he obviously could have afforded a bogey. So he turned it on when he had to. And, give him credit. But he made some mistakes early yesterday for sure.
Yeah, I know they're great players and pros, but at 18 out of that bunker on that downhill lie, boy, you could have scalded that scalded dog could have gone across the green into the other bunker.
It's not you playing, it's Rory McIlroy playing.
Yeah, just get it on the green. He didn't care. Just get it on the green somewhere.
You and I could have scolded that bunker shot. I don't think Rory's scolding that bunker shot.
Not with that kind of money on the line and not that jacket. And
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, that money is incredible now.
Yeah, $4.5 million for Rory McIlroy for winning. And how about Scotty Scheffler not winning? He still takes home $2.4 million for
Man,
second place. That will work for him. And yes, he's going for the career Grand Slam at the
how many
US
guys,
Open.
all the 4 guys in third place ended up over $1 million.
Yeah, there's a 4-way tie for third
Jeez.
with Rosie, Hatton, Henley, and Cam Young, and they all get $1.1 million as well. So should have been a golfer. Toby Keith was wrong when he said should have been a cowboy. Should have been a golfer. That's where the money
Wow.
is. And we made a mistake covering the game instead of playing it.
That's right. Covering is fun too.
Yeah, but we don't get $4.5 million for covering it.
Yeah, I hate those $5 misses of some of those putts. Those guys are one-legging. I got to go back there and fall on the ground and look at it sideways. Guys are one-legging putts in.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. So there you go. First major of the year in the books. Congrats to Rory McIlroy, his 6th major of his illustrious career. And yeah, entertaining. Again, like the way Friday ended, I'm like, do I even need to watch this on Saturday and Sunday? There's a lot more drama in that final round than I think most of us anticipated. It was very good, but ultimately Rory got it done, which I'm not a huge Rory guy, and I am a huge Scotty guy, so that left me a little upset, but at least it was fun to watch for sure.
What about Henley? Come on, Henley, you can do better than that putting. He really didn't do anything down the stretch with his putting either. He had some opportunities.
I don't root for anybody or anything that attended the University of Georgia.
Yeah, that's true.
So I do not care for Russell Henley whatsoever. He's like, typically I root for the Americans no matter what. But if you went to like Georgia or OU or A&M, like if you're going to one of those schools, then I don't want you to win. Sorry about that.
You just will have Tommy Fleetwood get it done.
You just have like dudes barking like a dog when you're playing golf. Like we don't need that at the course. I'm a man of high class. We don't need grown men on leashes and barking like dogs around Augusta National. Okay.
No, we can't accept that. We
cannot accept that. Cannot accept that. All right. So there's your golf from the weekend. Shifting gears here. You know, we talked about it being a rough weekend for Texas on the diamond. It was not a rough weekend for Sean Miller and Texas men's basketball. As the Longhorns went to work in the portal, landing not 1, but 2 top 12 players in the transfer portal over the weekend.
Not 1, but 2?
But 2. 1 on Saturday with Isaiah Johnson, the combo guard coming in from Colorado. And then last night, David Punch from TCU transferring to Texas. The Longhorns raiding the Big 12 right now, and those are plug-and-play starters. Again, 2 top 12 players in the transfer portal. Isaiah Johnson averaged 17 points per game as a true freshman at Colorado this past season. And David Punch, who's a power forward, 6'7", 6'8", about 240, 245 pounds, a bigger body. It's going to be a perfect complement next to Modest Vocatitis. He averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game this past season.
Doesn't sound like a garbage man to me.
Please do not associate him with Nick Cody. This guy is 10 times as good as Nick Cody was.
Okay.
Come on. This guy looks like a more eloquent way to say garbage man.
No, we're going to let that. It's to be determined.
Yeah, you've got to wait until the season gets here, until you watch these guys play a couple of times before you have your nicknames, right?
Yeah, I got to see how good the guard is. It'd be cool to have 2 young guards.
Well, yeah, they're not done. I mean, there's still more work left to be done. But, look, Texas, I mean, for David Punch, we'll just talk about him for a moment. I mean, both of these guys were highly sought after by a number of big-time programs around the country. But some of the schools that were linked to David Punch, I mean, TCU was trying really hard to get him back because he was the best player on their team. TCU made the tournament. They won a game. I think were a 9 seed. They beat Ohio State in an 8-9 game before losing to Duke in round 2. But he was the best player on that squad, and they were doing whatever they possibly could to convince him to stick around Fort Worth.
Right.
Texas Tech, who has buku amounts of money, seeing the price of gas these days.
Yeah, man.
oil men in Lubbock are doing very well, and they really wanted David Punch too. He's from Harker Heights, so he's a Texas kid. So understandably, he was looking at a number of different schools across Texas. And then also Michigan, the defending champs. They were going after David Punch. And Texas, look, NIL obviously played a part in this. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't know what anybody else offered, but the big thing here is that Texas is hanging with some big dogs and some big spenders. And we were curious, okay, what is the investment level going to be for Sean Miller this offseason? Because it's basketball after all. And the fact that Texas was able to get both of these guys, but obviously talking about David Punch here right now, that tells you that they're not messing around.
Yeah, and it's early in the portal too. That's pretty good stuff there.
It's huge. It's huge. And for Isaiah Johnson, I mean, Kansas was after him. UCLA was after him. Kentucky was after him. These are blue blood. So look, Texas is never going to spend the most in men's basketball. We know that. I don't even need them spending with the very top tier, but you want them close to that. And I think they are clearly close to that with these two gets that they were able to pick up. So
you said one is a freshman.
Well, one was a freshman.
One was a freshman. The other does he have 2 years or just Latin the next year? Next year's it?
No, he's got 2 years left of eligibility.
That's good.
Yeah, so David Punch from Fort Worth or from Harker Heights just played at TCU, just finished his second year of college ball. Former top 100 recruit in the country. Was a role player his first year at TCU, and then, again, really broke out, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks a game. And that excites me. This is a guy who rebounds well. This is a guy who blocks shots. Like, Modest Vokatitis led Texas in blocks this past season. He averaged 0.9 per game. Like, Texas, he's really tall, so he alters some shots at times, but he's not an elite rim protector by any stretch. David Punch is only
once he tries to block, he ends up hacking. Those are called fouls.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt. David Punch is a lot shorter. Again, 6'7", 6'8", but averaged 2 blocks a game for TCU this past year, and gives you just the second guy down there who could help alter some shots.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's a perfect fit. Those two guys together with what Vokatitis does offensively. And again, David Punch gives you something offensively too, averaged 14 a game. But Vokatitis, you can run your offense through him at times, and David Punch giving you that offensive help, but also rebounding and shot blocking and some defense too that you just did not have against front court players this past season. Really, you haven't had that in a couple of years here. I think that is a perfect 1-2 punch in your front court. And that may be, it's so early in the offseason, so it's, you don't want to make declarative statements like this, but as of now, you can make a strong argument that Texas has the best front courts, at least starting front court in the SEC, which is really, really good.
Yeah, you don't want to start licking your chickens.
I want to start licking the chickens.
No.
But Modest Vokatitis, I was told, and I know it was tweeted too by somebody over the weekend, that guy was offered nearly $5 million by an ACC program to hit the portal. He's not in the portal. This is tampering. Everybody does it, but by definition, it's tampering. And yeah, he was offered a bunch of money to go hit the portal and go somewhere else. And to his credit, he did not. And I'm sure, the big money donors at Texas deserve some credit for that too.
Yeah, he's not staying for free.
No, he's definitely not staying for free. I mean, he didn't come here for free last year, but the price tag went up because, coming over from Florida Atlantic, I don't think there was that many teams vying for him last year. And after the season, he just put up 16.5 points, 7 rebounds per game. There were a number of schools interested in Modest Vokatitis and all of his fouls.
Yeah, that's a good combo for him. He needed somebody 6'8", 6'9" guy that he could play off of instead of dumping it off to the little dudes all the time. Now he's got somebody that if he gets the ball in the middle, he can throw it up to, now he can throw it over the top to somebody too, who can jump. Sounds like that guy can leap.
Yeah.
He's around the rim. That's good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of throwing it off the garbage man's shoulder and the ball accidentally going in the hoop every once in a while, now he can actually throw it to somebody and get 2 hands on it and dunk it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good get.
It's a great get. And again, top 10 player. He was actually the 7th ranked player in the portal. And that's a big get for the Longhorns with all of the other schools going after him. And then Isaiah Johnson, too. I mean, look, Texas is losing just about everybody. Like, we'll obviously see what happens with Dalen Swain. He's got over a month before he has to decide if he wants to stay in the draft or come back to Texas. If he goes, then it's 8 of the top 9 players from this past Sweet 16 team who are gone. If he stays, it's still 7 of 9. So either way, it's a pretty big roster rebuild.
Sure.
But I mean, you lose Jordan Pope, you lose Tremont Mark, Pope Jordan and the jerky lefty, the beef jerky lefty. Herky jerky lefty. You lose Kendall Weaver. Sim Wilcher hit the transfer portal last week. Like, basically everybody who played guard for your team is gone.
Yes.
So you needed a really, really good guard. And Isaiah Johnson is that guard. It's funny. So we talked about David Punch being a former top 100 recruit. Isaiah Johnson was like, Colorado was his best offer by 4. That was his only high major offer that he had. Like, Rice was in the mix. Sam Houston was in the mix. This was
he's just a good ball player. He's just a good ball player.
Well, he was a 3-star coming out of high school, and then Colorado takes a chance on him. Diamond in the rough, fine for them. You give them credit. As a freshman, he averaged 17 points per game, 48% shooting, 38% from 3.
In the Big 12.
I know you like this, Buck, an 82% free throw shooter, too.
Yes, indeed. Love the guy handling the ball to be in the 80s. That's good stuff.
Yeah, very efficient, did not turn it over often. Like you said, in the big, like, Colorado was not good. He was the best player on a Colorado team that finished 1 game above 500 and missed the NCAA tournament. Teams were honing on slowing him down, and he was still able to put up some very, very solid numbers in his first year of college basketball. So that's a great get. He also had 28 points and 5 assists against Arizona in the Big 12 tournament. An Arizona Final Four team, a number 1 seed this past year.
What is he? What size-wise? What is he? Is he like the Pope there? Is he a shortish guy, or is he a 6'1", 6'2" guy?
No, he's 6'1". I would still say that's a shortish guy in basketball.
Yes, it is.
So Jordan Pope was listed at, he might have been listed above 6 feet, but I think he was 6 feet. Yeah, Jordan Pope also listed at 6'1", so similar size and stature. He's small. I mean, he weighs $170, $175. Like this. Okay. This is not a big dude, but he can get to the free throw line. He does draw a lot of fouls, which will obviously fit in with Texas. And he's not a plus defender, but he's not a total liability on that end of the floor. But
Jordan Pope was a liability.
Jordan Pope at times was a liability on defense for sure. But yeah, 6'1", 170. He's got some physical limitations in terms of size.
Sure.
He's not going to be a great rebounder. You don't expect him to. You don't need him to be. But that's, I guess, the biggest weakness, if you will, of his game is that he doesn't defend it at super high level and he doesn't rebound at a super high level. But with Modis and David Punch and hopefully Dalen Swain, but also some other pieces that you add in the portal, you're not going to need the smallest guy on the floor to be a big rebounder for you.
Yeah, they got to keep pushing with Swain, get him to come back for 1 more year. That'd be awesome.
At this point, I don't think there's anything Texas can really do. Like, I think it's just going to hinge on how he does at the NBA Combine in May.
Yeah, those workouts, yep.
Yeah, and like what he hears from NBA people, right? Like, Texas can offer him a lot of money to come back, but if the NBA people are like, dude, you're going to be a top 25 pick in this draft, that may be too much for Dalen Swain to turn down. I don't know. I mean, again, we've talked about it a lot. Like, this year's draft is absolutely loaded. So if Dalen Swain did come back and have another really good year at Texas and improve on a couple of things, in a much weaker draft class, at least what's projected to be a much weaker draft class in 2027, then he could potentially be a lottery guy. So maybe he wants to do that. But again, first round pick, like, that's tough to turn down. And there's not that much of a financial difference between being like pick 25 and pick 13 in the NBA.
As you say, you just get on to your next contract. The quicker you get in, the quicker you get to your next contract.
That's part of it too. Yeah. So, like, look, if Dalen Swain returned to Texas, he would make more money next year than he would in his first year in the NBA or G League, like wherever he starts on that first year of the rookie deal. But like you said, I mean, he's in the NBA. He gets to start the clock there, if you will. And yeah, like if he ends up being a really good player, it gets him a little closer to getting that second contract. So it's almost like you're rooting against Dalen Swain at the combine, as mean as that might sound. But if he comes back, I mean,
Yes.
you got a starting five of Isaiah Johnson, Austin Gooseby, 5-star freshman, Dalen Swain, David Punch, Modest Vokatitis. That could be a preseason top 10 team in college basketball next year. I'm not even kidding. Like, they would start for sure in the top 15. You could make a case that that is a preseason top 10 team in the country.
All right, just settle down now. Settle yourself down there, chicken licker.
Well, that's if Dalen Swain comes back. Big if.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back, but that's where we're at right now. And there's going to be more than 7 or 8 Texas basketball fans if that's the case, Buck.
No, it's going to be started out. You're going to start out with a pretty nice crew if that were to happen.
There'll be a lot of folks licking chickens.
Yes, indeed.
Give me that chicken. Is it raw? Is it cooked? I don't care. I'm licking it.
You're licking it. That's good stuff.
Is it
So
still alive? I don't care. Give it to me. I'm licking
We
it.
didn't gain anything in the women's portal or lose anything, right? We had nothing to lose.
I was going to say, there's no other players to lose. I guess Madison Booker could leave, which if that were to happen, then it's like, oh, what is Vic Schaefer doing to these girls?
Yeah, no kidding.
But no news for the women's side just yet in terms of additions or additional subtractions. Like you said, I don't know who else could really leave.
Oh, there's not anybody else who could leave.
But yeah, but for the men, look, to put a bow on this conversation for right now, they're not done. There's still more work to be done.
Sure.
But like, they're not going to add another top 15 player. I think these are their 2 big additions in the portal. Now you'd love to find a true point guard because Isaiah Johnson can handle the ball. He can run an offense, but like Jordan Pope, he's not the truest of true point guards out there, I don't think. So if you could find another true facilitate first point guard, that'd be good. And then now you got to find some depth. You got to find a big guy behind Modest and David Punch. And then also I'd love to find a Cam Heide type. Like, you're losing Cam Heide. He hit the portal. I was told Texas wanted him back, but it's a difference in NIL, as is everything nowadays. I would love a white guy who can make threes as my sort of final piece to this.
Where did Cam Heide, where did he end up going?
Well, he hasn't committed anywhere. Easy for me to say.
Somebody's on him, though.
He's got 2 visits planned for this week as of now. One of them is to Auburn, another SEC school. The other one, Grand Canyon.
What?
Yeah.
He wants to go see the Grand Canyon? You don't have to do anything. You can go take a trip there.
Yeah, you could just take a road trip or get on a plane and you're there.
Grand Canyon? What in the hell is that?
I know. So, yeah, Wednesday, he's got a visit locked in with Grand Canyon on Wednesday, and then this coming Saturday, he'll be visiting Auburn.
What is he studying? Art?
I don't.
Is he an artist or something? Is that why he wants to go to Grand Canyon?
Maybe GCU's got a little bit of money down there somewhere in the canyon, you know?
My goodness.
Bryce Drew is their coach. They've had some years where they've made the tournament recently. But yeah, that's pretty sad going from Purdue, where he started his career, to Texas, to Grand Canyon. If you end up at Auburn, okay, SEC school, high major school, whatever. Grand Canyon? Maybe he wants to be, like one of the best players on a team. If he goes to Auburn, he's not going to be one of their best players.
No.
He'll have a role similar to what he had at Texas. If he goes to Grand Canyon, maybe he averages 15 points per game. Who knows? He's
also going to have to wash the uniforms and everything else. He's going to have plenty of roles there if he goes and takes their money. He's going to have to be the leading rebounder. He's going to have to be the assist guy, the point scorer, and doing the laundry for the team.
Hey, if we're going to pay you all this money, then this is what you're going to have to do for us.
Well, hell yeah, because they're not going to have 2 of them they're not going to have 2 guys like that on their team.
Trainer, water boy.
Oh my God.
Massage therapist. Stats is going to be the SID for the school too.
You're going to find out that this guy's got a funky major that he's trying to get into if he ends up there.
Yeah. So that's the latest on the hidden one. He'll be very hidden if he ends up at
Yeah, he will.
at Grand Canyon. But that's what I want. Like point guard, front court depth, and white guy who can shoot threes. Look, you've got Bo Ogden coming in from Westlake. I just a little weary about a true freshman filling that role. Also, Joe Sterling coming in from the state of California, another signee in this freshman class. Those guys can shoot, but finding a transfer with some college experience, can knock them down at this level, I would take that.
It's almost like, how the hell did you lose this guy?
I don't know. Look, I think Texas can find somebody better for cheaper. I really do. So, I mean, look, Cam Heide hit maybe the biggest shot of last season, and that's a shot that I'll remember for the rest of my life, the dagger against Gonzaga when things were starting to fall apart.
But you needed more. You needed more. You're right.
But you can find a comparable player or a slightly better player, I think, at a better value. And I think Texas had a price. Same with football. Like you have a price tag. Like Texas didn't want to lose Trey Wisner. They didn't want to lose Darth Livingston. They didn't want to lose DeAndre Moore. They just had a certain price they were willing to pay for those guys, and other teams were willing to exceed it. So, hey, thanks for your service.
Thanks a lot, Grand Prairie View, Grand Canyon, or whatever the hell that is.
Grand Prairie View Canyon. Is the Grand Canyon now in Prairie View?
I don't know. What in the hell is that place?
I don't know.
Grand Canyon.
And by the way, this morning, Simeon Wilcher committed to Seton Hall. So
headed to the Big East.
Back to the Big East. Started at the Big East with St. John's.
You got that.
Came to Texas for a year. I'm a little surprised he's staying at this level of basketball. Thought maybe he would take a step down, but Seton Hall's they're average Big East team. So
yeah, renting apartments up there they're paying him just going to give him his apartment money.
Yeah, that's all he's getting in NIL.
He ain't getting any more than that. That's big rent up there in that New Jersey, New York area. So he's going to get NIL money just for rental alone. No food vouchers.
We'll pay for your room and board, Simeon.
Yeah, no food, no meals here.
I'd like to say best of luck to him, but I feel like we were just so mean that I don't know if anyone would take me seriously if I said best of luck to Simeon.
No, they wouldn't take you serious. No reason to say that.
I'll say best of luck to Simeon.
There you go. Wish him well.
He's in a different conference, which maybe that's bad for Texas.
Now you're gonna be pissed when that dude is averaging 16 a game.
I'd be stunned if that happens. There's no way that's gonna happen. So there you go right there. All right, we will shift gears here. We'll talk a little Longhorn baseball with legendary lifetime Longhorn Greg Swindell. A rough weekend for Texas in College Station. But before we chop it up with Zeke, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs, Buck?
Folks, Hat Creek Burger is a great place with good food, good folks, and, of course, a lot of good fun. It's just that simple. They're proud to be a place where you can come in hungry and leave full and fulfilled for sure. Got over 30 locations throughout the state of Texas. Great playgrounds, of course, for the kids, and happy hour for the adults. And folks, Hat Creek Burger has now got, of course, they started out burger, fries, and shakes. And you tell me they've got queso fries and nuggets? They got nuggies there?
They got nuggies there.
Going to have to get into some of those nuggies this week. I'm off the Fish Friday. The Lentil season's over with, so I'm now into the meats. And Hat Creek Burger has the kind of burgers that I'm looking for. And you should too. And of course, we love those shakes that they have at Hat Creek Burgers. I'm going to get myself one of those strawberry shakes. Hey, a little whipped cream on the top with the cherry. I had that over the weekend. I went to Hat Creek Burger just for a shake alone.
You should. Their shakes are amazing.
Oh, they're delicious. I love Hat Creek Burger. And folks, you will too, of course. As I said, find out about Hat Creek Burger. Find out those queso fries. I'm going to have to do that. I'll attempt to do that. I have not got to the pretzel burger yet. The big one, maybe too big for the buck. I've just kind of moved over to the big hat, so I better kind of take my time on what I eat over there.
Yeah, they don't have that on the kids menu, so you can't. Unfortunately, yeah. Those queso fries, by the way, they also top them with bacon pieces. That'll work.
Everything works with bacon.
Fries, queso, and bacon all together. Yeah,
that'll work for me.
Sign me up. Sign me up for that. Love Hat Creek Burger Company. I'm with you on that. Shout out to Centex tickets too. Man, what a great time on the sports calendar. If you want to catch a Longhorn baseball game, a Longhorn softball game, a Round Rock Express baseball game. Hey, the NBA playoffs start this week. The Stanley Cup playoffs start this week. Maybe you want to catch a Dallas Stars game or a Spurs game or a Rockets game. Centex Tickets has you covered. Plus concerts, comedy shows, festivals, Broadway shows, anything coming to the great state of Texas. You can find your seats online at centextickets.com. Don't forget the promo code. I always tell you all this, 10% off. Who else gives you 10% off of tickets these days? You can't find it anywhere but centextickets.com. Use that promo code CENTEX10 for 10% off of any ticket purchase.
Hell, hey, you may want to get a Rangers ticket. They took one from the Dodgers. They stole one. How about that for the Rangers?
They didn't get swept by the Dodgers, which I think is everybody's goal when you're playing the Dodgers this year.
Wow.
Don't get swept. They almost won 2 in LA. And the Astros are terrible right now. They are awful. We'll get to that a little bit later. Maybe we'll ask Zeke for some thoughts on what's going on in Major League Baseball. But joining us now, as he does each and every Monday, to talk all things Longhorn baseball, legendary lifetime Longhorn and World Series champion, and our friend Greg Swindell with us here on Bucky and BK. Zeke, how are you today?
It could be better.
Yeah.
If we didn't have to wait all days for baseball to play. Huh?
How long did you keep that screen on your television screen? The ESPN Plus weather delay event starting soon. I had that on my television for like 8 hours yesterday. How long did you give that?
Fortunately, I'm good friends with Zonk, and he kept texting me updates, so I didn't have to. I was watching him hit that white ball around for a long time yesterday, watching the Masters. So Keith kept me informed and kept saying it's 5:30, it's 7:30, it's 9:30, and I'm like, I'm giving up. I'm going to bed. Yeah,
Greg, I know they love that. It's there's money involved when you have those network games, even in the SEC. But when you had two teams that are just down the road from each other and you want to get that game in, hell, get it in on a Monday, some other time in May. Find a time to do it instead of making those, 7:30. And you've been doing this the whole weekend long. I thought, like, get them a break. They're right down the street. The coaches can come together and say, when do you want to play this game? We can play that. We can make this game up at any time. We don't have to cross country or get in planes or anything.
Unfortunately, I think the SEC has rules, and you couldn't play today. Once if they had started last night after 10 o'clock and then it got canceled or delayed again, they couldn't have restarted it even last night. So that's the way the rules go. It's a lost game, and the way the standings are always in the SEC, that game could be really important towards the end. But yeah, it just sucks as a player, as a broadcaster, as a media person to sit around there for 9 hours and all of a sudden say we're not playing. It's just unfortunate, but Texas took it in stride. I'm sure they were happy to get on that bus and head back to Austin.
Now, as you said, Greg, that's a canceled game. That's it. There's no makeup for that. The conference.
No more making it up.
It's crazy. Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. But you're probably right, because Friday and Saturday did not go very well for Texas. We'll start with Friday, Greg, because that was, a closer game, a more enjoyable watch, at least for a while. 9-8, the final in the series opener. Look, 8 runs, that's going to win you a lot of games. But unfortunately for Texas, some of the bullpen struggles, the walks, the hit batters, some wild pitches, some defensive miscues, just a little sloppy. Your thoughts on kind of what went wrong in that series opener in College Station?
The control issues. I mean, that's the big thing. You give a team like Texas A&M 3 free runs, right? That was Friday. I get all these games mixed up. Yeah, so no hits and 3 runs. I think this is just, again, my personal opinion, that Ruger only had 83 pitches when they took him out of the game, and he lead off walk in the 6th. Yeah, okay. You bring in the bullpen and they walk and continue to walk. I'm leaving Ruger out there. I'm leaving my ace out there if he can get out of this. If not, wait until he doesn't get out of it. I mean, in that situation, and I understand matchups, and LeFew's been throwing well, and both Ruger and LeFew had 2 strikes on their hitters to start that inning. and end up throwing. And this is what gets me. I know LaFew has a good breaking ball. I know Ruger has all kind of pitches, but your best pitch in a 3-2 count is a fastball, in my opinion, to get over the plate. Both of them threw breaking balls. Both of them end up walking the hitters. Now you got 2-1, nobody out. You got a lefty on the mound. Even if you're going to be in that situation, Ruger is a heck of a fielder. He could have fielded that bunt. I think they had the guy at third after that. So it happens. And then control, and people talk about the 12th man. I really think that has zero difference to do with it. They might think it does, but with the bubbles and the chants, and players don't hear it. I mean, they hear it, but they don't give a crap what the crowd is saying. It's just a thing that happened. They walked the hitters and had a 6-4 lead and ended up being a 7-6 deficit when they came out of that innings and couldn't overcome it, and then got all sloppy later. Had a chance at the end to win, or at least tie it back up, and weren't able to do it. But pitching, I mean, I look at it, they're still fourth in the nation in ERA. They're second in WHIP, walks and hits per innings pitched. So it's just the times when they've gotten beat, those are just magnified because they implode. They just blow up out there. So they're playing well. They get back home for a week now. You're gonna play Corpus Christi, A&M Corpus Christi in Alabama, and hopefully get back on the right track. And a big part of that is getting A-Rod back too.
Yeah, I mean that stress that they put on themselves when guys come in, when the bullpen comes in, and a batter doesn't even take the bat off his shoulders. He's just waiting for you to throw strikes. And the lefty's throwing big sliders and curveballs and just missing inside. Like you said, and nobody's just throwing fastballs down the middle. Guys don't even have the bat off their shoulders. They're not even going to swing. It looks like they're just waiting for you to put them on base for free.
Yeah, and then when you do put it over the plate, they knock the crap out of it.
Oh, they hit it hard now.
A&M's good. I mean, they played 2 good games and won both the games. I'm just happy that it wasn't a run roll on Saturday. I mean, they played 9 innings. They got the game in and didn't give up. One thing, 7 home runs in the 2 games, and 6 were solo. So you need to start putting it at bats together again. 2- and 3-run homers really can hurt the opposition. But when you keep hitting solos, they're great. But you need to get 2 or 3 at a time, not just 1. And Texas, they played okay, just two bad innings out of 18, and it cost them the 2 games and the proverbial sweep of the weekend for the Aggies.
Yeah, they get to hang a banner for that one for sure. Legendary lifetime Longhorn Greg Swindell joining us here on Bucky and BK. Well, you mentioned the Ruger-Riojas decision on Friday, another controversial pitching decision on Saturday. Look, I thought it was a joke that they even started this baseball game considering the weather forecast, but you get that hour and 42 or 48-minute weather delay in the bottom of the first inning. Both managers brought their starting pitchers back out there after the delay, but obviously for Texas, it did not work. Luke Harrison gets peppered, doesn't even get out of the first inning. Your thoughts on that decision? And were you ever a part of a game like that? Like, how tough is it for a pitcher to deal with a delay like that and still have all of their stuff?
We control the controllables. You can't control the weather, right? So, I've been through 4 rain delays and went back out. We were in Cincinnati one night, and it was raining in the second inning, and put the tarp on. 30 minutes later, take the tarp off. Four rain delays, and I came back out for all of them. It all depends on what inning, right? How many pitches do you have? It was the first inning. I don't think Luke was there was nothing wrong with bringing Luke back out there. It ended up looking very bad, but once play resumed, he was throwing the ball good. He threw another pitch to Terrence Keel at second that was strike 3. Tenney knew it. Luke knew it. The hitter knew it. The only person that didn't was Buckhalter, the umpire, called it a ball. I tweeted it to the SEC. I'm like, this is terrible. That needs to be called. That's a strike. And whatever, I don't care what league you're in. Put that silly square up there on the screen. That was a strike. And at the time, it was 2-1. It was a 2-1 ball game. They left that inning. It was 8-1 Texas A&M. So you still had a chance to get out of it a couple of times, but didn't. But that was a big changer to me. The decision to bring Luke back was not a bad one, considering he only had 20 or so pitches. And you do things in between the delay to stay loose, possibly even play a little catch in the tunnel somewhere or do something. There's times where guys would go in tunnels and throw a full inning and then rest, throw a full inning and rest just to kind of keep the rhythm going. But there was just no rhythm the entire weekend, it seemed, for Texas. They got beat too. You didn't want those games to happen, but like I said, I think they played good for 16 innings, played competitive for 16 innings. It was just the 2 innings that cost them the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Legendary lifetime Longhorn Greg Swindell joining us here. A couple more for you here, Zeke. I know you mentioned it a moment ago. Look, Texas still top 5 in the country in ERA, top 5 in the country in WHIP. But like I did a post-game show after Friday, and a bunch of people are commenting, this bullpen sucks, this bullpen sucks. Didn't see Sam Cozart, who's been the best bullpen arm. I guess that's kind of a good thing, as you give the freshman a total week off. But outside of Cozart, I mean, you still feel good about Crossland? You still feel good about LeFew? Like, I guess how many guys are in your sort of circle of trust right now in this Texas bullpen as we inch to the second half of SEC play?
I'm confident as ever. I mean, you got to remember, these kids, they're 18. They're 18 years old, and they're pitching like they're juniors and seniors. So I got all the confidence in the world in those guys. I'm really liking what I see out of Brody Walls. He does give up a couple when he gets out there, but you get that guy in there for 1 inning, he's going to be throwing 97, 98, good breaking ball, and he's got a little giddy up on him. I mean, he hops around the mound. Still look at LeFew. That happened to him. Get Higgins on track. I mean, got to get another lefty out of the pen. And then you didn't even see Cozart and Burns on the 2 games. So I'm not concerned. It was a rivalry weekend, and I think they held their own. But for going down the road, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Cozart can step into the rotation, in my opinion. Crossland, I mean, all these arms are good, and they've proven it. They've just gone out and had a couple bad outings. I haven't seen Cozart have one, but not concerned at all. Again, I'll say it every week. It comes down to the starting pitching. When your starter goes out in the first, puts a little pressure on the bullpen. When your starter goes out in the 6th with only 83 pitches, at some point he's going to have to throw over 100, 110. All these starters are going to have to try to get there. You see it all the time. We got a guy coming in Friday for Alabama that threw a 132 pitch no hitter this year. So guys are doing it. You have to be ready. You can't. There's only one way to not rely on your bullpen, and that's not let them get out there.
Yeah,
Go out there, finish what you start, and pitch the full game. That was always my thing. I didn't want anybody coming in and giving up my runs. I want to give up my own runs.
And as you said, we talked about it earlier in the season, when you have to go to the bullpen, it's a never ending. We're constantly looking to find out who's going to be the best guy. And it's just the start of the second part of the season. So you still got some games. I mean, they've only lost 1 series, and that was just happened to be to this group that they lost it to. So you can't just all of a sudden say, nah, we can't do it with this guy or that guy. They're forever looking to see who's going to be consistent as time goes on. And they're, like you said, they're young guys. And you can't just say, nope, that's not going to work for him. We can't put him in. We can't trust him. They got to trust him.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's I think it starts Tuesday. I mean, fine guys. You got to throw strikes on Tuesday just like you throw strikes on the weekend. So it's getting, like you said, Buck, it's getting to that point of the season where you don't want to rely on just 2 or 3 guys. You need 6 or 7 out of the bullpen that you can say, just pull them out of a hat. This guy's going to do good. This guy's going to do good. You might have the lefty-lefty matchups come up, but Grubbs, Max is throwing the ball well. Yeah, he's giving it up, but he's the reliable one out of the bullpen who is going to come in and throw strikes. So it happened. It'll probably happen again. It'll probably happen again. That's baseball. That's why you play a lot of games, and you got to have a short memory and a quick turnaround in this game, and you can't let it bother you. And like I said, coming back home for Tuesday and then on the weekend, it should get them settled back in. And a big key to that, I kind of texted a little bit with Slosh over the weekend. I always send him a little hook 'em horns when I think he needs one, and I thought he needed a couple this weekend.
Yeah.
And heart emojis. And getting A-Rod back will kind of solidify that batting order. Guys can get back in their positions. and get things going. I think he's the big key to the second half of being healthy. He hadn't been healthy, I think, in a year. You could see it every time he swing the bat.
I agree. All right, last one for me here, Zeke, before we let you go. You brought up that blown call in the bottom of the first inning in Saturday's game. ABS, you're a guy who obviously a legendary college player and a legendary MLB career, 17 years, World Series champ. I know you're usually old school when it comes to the way you view the game, but your thoughts on ABS in the majors, and you think one day you'd like to see that in college baseball too?
No. No, I don't like it. I mean, I like it better than the pitch clock. Pitch clock, I don't want it to interrupt a game late in the season, a playoff game, a World Series game, because a guy took a little too long. Well, it's pretty stressful. 2 on, 2 out in the 8th inning, and you're up by 1. You might need a little more than 20 seconds. But ABS, I mean, I think it's proven this year in the big leagues that they're getting a lot of wrong. I mean, as far as calling them, you tap the head, and sometimes they don't see them tap the head. I mean, it's just reinventing the wheel. We didn't have it. These guys just grow up with it now, so it's part of the game. And you ask anybody my age or even 10 years younger, they don't like the new rules set up, and that's just us. That's old school. But as commentators and broadcasters, you got to put up with it and kind of be politically correct about the ABS system.
No, they're doing a pretty good job with the tapping of the head and getting that call in pretty quick, though. It doesn't seem to interrupt very much. Now, you as a broadcaster or somebody that's watching the game, and you've seen it from the old vision for a long, long time, it just sucks if there's any interruption. When a guy calls a ball, you just start looking back at him, giving him the look and going on. The tapping of the helmet, it doesn't seem like it interrupts that much right now.
Oh, no, it's not interrupting. I think the biggest thing is the communication. I mean, now you're getting in a rhythm, either hitting or pitching, and now the catcher's like, I can't hear it. I can't hear what's going on. You got to change crap up. 3-1, 3-2, curveball. Come on, let's go. Put the fingers down and let's play ball.
Right.
Yeah, it's different for sure. It's funny watching some of these college kids. They're tapping their head. It's like, no, you guys don't have that. This you can tell they're watching the major leaguers play. It's like, no, you guys don't get that yet. Greg, great stuff as always. Hopefully, next time we talk, we're recapping a series win. We're not used to talking about a series loss. This isn't as fun. I know it sucks, but enjoy the week, my friend. Thanks for the time today, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Welcome. There he goes. Legendary lifetime Longhorn and World Series champion Greg Swindell joining us as he does each and every Monday here on Bucky and BK. And, it's interesting, right? Like the Texas pitching staff took a lot of heat. They were not good in College Station. There's no denying that. They gave up 20 runs in 2 games, and that's not a very good recipe for success. And they've had some bad moments this year in the Longhorn losses. But despite all of the struggles and despite some of the panic and mini meltdown happening with this fan base, top 5 in team ERA, is a top 2 in team whip. So misery loves company. And I guess the point is there are a lot of teams who are having much worse pitching problems than Texas right now. So this team's going to be fine. Again, everything's magnified when you lose to your rival. And nobody likes Texas A&M. Nobody likes losing to Texas A&M. So that obviously makes it less fun versus losing a series to just a different SEC team. But there's still enough talent on this staff. They've done good enough this year that I think they'll be fine. And I still think Texas is going to finish very high in the SEC standings and find a way to secure a top 8 national seed when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it's a forever look for your bullpen to me. College, it's different in the major leagues. Those guys are slated. They made this much money. That guy's coming in the game. What I mean? College is like you're looking for 2 or 3 consistent guys. But Zeke says you need 5 or 6 of those dudes where you can just pull one of those rabbits out. You got to go back-to-back lefties. Can't just go righty-lefty because this one guy with the right hand is better than the lefty. You got to have 2 or 3 lefties that are really good and ready to go. Sounds like you need a number of guys. You can't rely on your bullpen to have 2 guys that are pretty consistent. You need 4 or 5 or 6 guys. So,
yeah.
And you never stop looking, obviously.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I disagree a little bit with Greg Swindell. Maybe you should listen to him more than me, but like I thought the decision to take Ruger Riojas when they took him out was fine. I don't know if I would have let Ruger even start that inning, considering he had given up runs in the third, the fourth, and the fifth. I didn't like enough of what I saw from him to even trot him out there for the sixth, but I didn't have much issue with Schloss pulling him when he did. Now, Greg's old school guy. Yeah, he's like, I'm a starter. Like, I want to pitch 110, 120, 130 pitches. You heard him say, I want to give up the runs. I don't want somebody else to give up my runs. Like, if anyone's giving up runs, I want it to be me.
Sure.
I want to go down with the ship here. But I thought, Schloss, I thought he made the right move. I thought he went to the right guys. It's just his guys didn't deliver for him. And I think that's been more of the issue this year in Texas's losses and then their bullpen implosions. It's just guys aren't throwing strikes. And that's, that's not good.
As I said, it doesn't matter if a guy sits there with the bat on his shoulders and he's not going to take it off his shoulders because you can't throw it over the plate. You're spending time throwing curves and change-ups instead of fastballs in for strikes, and they're inside. They're just missing, but, hey, they miss nonetheless. They don't have, the umps say, sorry, that's a ball, and you come back and throw the same curveball inside again. How about just throwing it down the middle of the plate,
And
get them to get the bat off their shoulders.
And I agree with Steven here. Like, I think maybe the bigger mistake that Jim Schlossnagle made in that sixth inning on Friday, where things went awry and Texas went from up 6-4 to down 7-6. Like, maybe he left Hayden LeFew in too long. First guy out of the bullpen. I mean, he walked 3 guys. Also threw a wild pitch. Like, he clearly did not have it. And Schloss was trying to keep him in to give him time to find it, but it didn't work. And then look, Crossland came in and he walked the guy too. So it's not like the next guy came in and immediately shut the door. It was just a comedy of errors, and you had the bubbles going and you had the ball 5 chance going, and things can unravel pretty quickly in that ballpark. And again, that atmosphere was pretty insane, unlike anything Texas has seen this year.
Grown men with bubbles.
Grown men with bubbles. Yeah, and you kind of knew Texas was in trouble on Friday because it was National Farm Animals Day. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the biggest day of the year for Texas A&M. So, like, they weren't going to lose that game at home on National Farm Animals. 4th of
July for them.
Yeah, that was big. That was big for them. They had to get that one done. Saturday, just a disaster. And then, yeah, not fun. But look, if Texas, they're 4-1 in SEC series right now. If they go 4-1 in the second half of the season,
and
8 series wins, 2 series losses, they'll be all right. Would obviously love to win the SEC again, and they're tied for second. They're still very much in the mix for that. But I will continue to say, more importantly, is to be a top 8 national seed. Right. The 4th-ranked team in the country right now. So you're in a good spot. You'll get Adrian Rodriguez back. Hopefully, playing at home this weekend against a solid Alabama team, although Alabama
all of a sudden becomes a huge weekend with Alabama coming to town.
Yeah, it's big. And Alabama just got swept at home by Arkansas.
Yeah,
so Alabama was one of those teams that was playing really, really well, and now like they've got some questions too. So they're also going to be desperate because they just got swept at home.
You're right.
But it's life in the SEC. Like, you don't get too many weak opponents in this conference. And Texas is in a pretty tough stretch right now, playing both of these teams back to back. And then after Alabama, you go to Nashville to take on a Vanderbilt team that's always solid. And then you got Mississippi State at home, and they're very good. So no rest for the weary. This league is incredibly deep, as it always is. And Texas has to put the disappointment of Friday and Saturday behind them. And I guess it starts tomorrow with the midweek game against A&M Corpus Christi.
Oh, yeah.
Different A&M. Hey, they are going to get 3 games against A&M, Buck.
They are. That's true.
It's just the Islanders from Corpus coming to town instead of
let's
the Aggies.
Let's don't let this one happen as the makeup game. Don't let this group from Corpus Christi get anything over on you for sure.
I'm going to claim it as a makeup game and say we avoided the sweep with the win over.
That's true. That's right.
A&M Corpus. That's going to be my take on Wednesday, assuming the Longhorns get the job done at the Dish tomorrow. So good stuff as always from Zeke. Not great stuff for Texas baseball, but again, things will be all right. All right, before we shift gears here, we got some Texas football to dive into. We still need the BBK news and why today is not so bad. But before anything else, Buck, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, if you're seeking that specialized patient-focused orthopedic care, do contact the experts at Texas Orthopedics. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and, of course, adults, spinal care, sports medicine, trauma care, joint replacement, and more. Their doctors are dedicated surgeons there, and their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. For more information, go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. Love our friends at Texas Orthopedics. And we've got a new sponsor here, Buck.
Wow.
New sponsor alert. Shout out to our friends at Qualis Roofing and Construction.
Big Q.
If your home was affected by the storms over the weekend or gets affected by some of the upcoming storms that we have, you got to reach out to our friends at Qualis Roofing and Construction. These guys are new to us, but they are not new to Central Texas. They've been around for a long time. They've got more than 700 five-star reviews online. They're not a fly-by-night company. They are based here in Austin, and they do tremendous work all around Central Texas. And how about this promotion that they've got going on? See, we always love it when our sponsors take care of our people. We also love when our sponsors take care of our sponsors. If you get a free roof inspection from Qualis, they're going to hook you up with a free Longhorn t-shirt from our friends at Sue Patrick.
Just a inspection, that's it?
That's it. A free roof inspection. You come out, or they'll come out. You have them out to your place, check on some things. You're supposed to get your roof checked twice a year anyways. They're like, you don't need to do that. Just once a year is probably good. But get your roof checked if you haven't done it for a while, and they are going to buy you a Longhorn t-shirt from our friends at Sue Patrick. And also, if you need a roof replacement, they're going to hook you up with either a Blackstone grill or a Traeger smoker.
Sweet.
So they're taking care of our people, but they're not fly-by-night. They've been around, tons of five-star reviews online, no gimmicks, no pressure. They are the best at what they do. They also have drones that like fly around your roof and take a look at things, get those.
Yeah, not everybody's going to go up there on a ladder to start checking it out. That's why they have the drones.
They've got the latest technology. They're messing around with drones, baby. That's what we're looking for here. So,
and this company's all over the state, huh?
Yeah, they're in the Metroplex too, and they're here in Central Texas. But again, I mean, don't just take my word for it. Take Kurt Signetti's word for it. Google them.
There you go.
Tons of five-star reviews online. QualisGC.com or give them a call, 512-257-0033. Again, 512-257-0033. Any roofing issues, you just want to have your roof inspected, they'll come out for free, and they'll buy you a Longhorn t-shirt. That's as good as it gets right there. Shout out to our friends at Qualis Roofing and Construction.
Wonderful.
Yes, indeed. And also a quick shout out to our friends at Waterloo Printing and Graphics. We've got those Buck Off hats. They're coming. They're coming soon. Can't wait to rock those on the show and give those away to some of our great listeners. But if you have a business that needs merch, if you have a big event coming up that needs hats, signs, stickers, shirts, polos, koozies, sweatshirts, whatever, you catch my drift, reach out to our guy Adam and his great team at Waterloo Printing and Graphics. They're based right here in South Austin. They will get you what you need very, very quickly. 512-300-9641. That's Adam's personal line. Call him or text him anytime. And you can shoot him a DM on Instagram as well at Waterloo Printing.
Sweet.
All right, what else is on your mind?
Now, you said there was something in the news. I don't know if it was sports related, but there was something we needed to get to. I don't quite remember what I was thinking of though. But it was outside of sports, something that sounded very important.
There's something in the news that we need to get to that sounded very important.
But I don't quite remember it. It wasn't sports related.
Everything that I say is very important.
Oh no, not everything.
Everything.
I'm going to give you a 90. I'm going to give you a 90 percentile.
All right, that's an A grade. I'll take that. That's higher than I expected.
I'll take that A. I'm not giving you a C or whatever. I forget what it was. It'll come back to me. We'll get to it. We'll either get it today or tomorrow. Something else.
I ask you what you want to talk about, and you say I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll get it. It'll come back to me. You know, all these medications I've been on. Too many of these antibiotics for me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're saying, actually.
No. You know why? because this is what I need to be taking.
See, now you're way all over the place here.
Speaking of antibiotics, this is what I need to be taking. For my back, I had 2 of these this week, and I have one for sitting around watching the Masters. This works for watching. Hey, you want to keep your focus right here, BK? Early bird.
Dude, if you're popping 2, then now I understand why your brain has a little fog to it.
No, I'm saying on 2 different occasions for sitting around.
Yeah, it's like if you're eating 2 early bird CBD gummies before the show, it'd probably be a hilarious show. But I would understand why
I can't. There's that little twinge of, hey, you don't want to get tested for, that lasts me for a long time. Little THC. It doesn't take much for me.
Doesn't take much.
And I can go a long time being sort of in a fog, but for sitting down and being outside, still trying to do stuff, digging stuff in the yard. Hey, getting that pick iron in there into the ground still and digging. Oh, I had one of those and sat back and watched the Masters. It was relaxing, and I have no pain on a Monday.
There you go. Earlybirdcbd.com. 20% off your first order using the promo code Bucky. There it is if you don't believe me.
And one thing I do is I like to drive around. I do not have any of these before I go for a road trip.
No, that's probably for the best, Tiger.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You don't need any substances before getting behind the wheel. That's for unwinding and relaxing and watching golf, like you said, or just going to sleep, getting a great night's sleep.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, let's dive into some Texas football. The Longhorns had their penultimate scrimmage of the spring on Saturday. We are into the final week of spring practice. There are only 3 practices left: tomorrow, Thursday, and then everything wraps up with Fan Day and the open practice coming up on Saturday at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. I will be there this weekend, hopefully seeing a few of you people there this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather cooperates for this one. But some big notes and takeaways from the scrimmage that we had this past weekend. Sounds like a lot of guys were limited or held out. I mean, Arch Manning and Trevor Gooseby and Ty Anthony Smith and Emmett Mosley, like the guys who have been recovering from off-season surgery during the spring, who have been limited, that they were not big participants.
Why do it now?
Why do it now? Exactly. But not just that. Like, it sounds like Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, the 2 transfer running backs, like they didn't do a whole lot during the 11-on-11 stuff.
Yeah, I understand that.
Colin Simmons did some, but he wasn't like in for the entire scrimmage. Like some of the guys who are expected to be the best players on this team, who have already done a lot in spring ball and have already done a lot in their college careers. It was like, all right, we're not going to push you guys too hard. Let's see what we have with some of the new guys and some of the younger players on this team. And I guess we'll start with a new guy, a transfer. Very positive reports from Melvin Ciani, the transfer tackle from Wake Forest. He apparently has been playing incredibly well, but also like talking trash, playing with an edge. Sometimes when you're a transfer, you're at a new place, maybe you're in your shell a little bit, like trying to find your footing and you're not trying to do too much. Sounds like Ciani was maybe doing that early in the spring, but now he's playing with a little bit of swagger, and he was described as a dog with the way he played in this scrimmage on Saturday. So I'm liking what I'm hearing there. And I like this offensive line, Buck. Like, again, Trevor Gooseby's been out. Lawrence Seymour, the Western Kentucky transfer, doesn't get here till the summer, so you don't have the full complement of players, but I'm liking what I'm hearing from some of these guys, and Melvin Ciani's at the top of that list.
A lot of guys get an opportunity to play right now with guys being banged up and not taking a chance with them. So they're building some depth and they're building some character with guys who, if those guys were healthy, probably wouldn't even be in there. They would just be in backup roles. They're now actually spring starters.
Yeah.
And getting a lot of snaps and getting a lot of really meaningful snaps. So it's going to help out in the fall for sure.
Yeah, Chapman and Coleman and Christian,
and
some of these other, backup offensive linemen. Ciani's going to be this team's starter at right tackle, but you're right. Some of these depth dudes are definitely getting opportunities because of injuries or guys who aren't here in Austin just yet. And the returns have been pretty positive for them. Hearing good things about Ian Jaffrard, the Arkansas transfer on the defensive line. He continues to have a strong spring. Man, I don't think he's going to be Tavondre Sweat, where he's like conference player of the year good.
Sure.
But we're talking about a big boy. And a guy who's 370, maybe more than that. Just a space eater run stuffer.
370?
Yeah.
That's 390, really. Okay.
He probably is closer to 390. I mean, he's listed at 378 on the Texas
Yeah,
roster.
he's 390 then. When you throw that little 78 in there.
And I
390.
think last year on Arkansas's roster, he was at 389.
Wow.
So he's either shed some LBs, which maybe he has. Maybe when he got here, Texas is like, we want you big, but you don't have to eat the table after you eat your dinner.
You don't have to eat the meal and the table.
Yeah, we don't need you that big. So maybe they asked him to slim down, or maybe Texas is just like, hey, we'll do you a favor. And, the roster takes off 10 pounds sometimes. But he's been very good. He's moving well. And he's also apparently providing a little bit in terms of a pass rush, too, on the interior of the Texas defensive line. So he's been pretty disruptive in practice. Those were two important transfer pickups for Texas. We know how big the trenches are in the Southeastern Conference. Texas, not good enough, especially on the offensive line. Their D-line was solid, but they lose some pieces from last year's team. So they needed to go out in the portal and add some more. Yes. And it sounds like some of the additions that they have been making have been very, very good, which is great. Also good things from Jet Walker, the other freshman running back that Texas signed. We've spent, and everybody spent, a bunch of time talking about Derek Cooper, and rightfully so. The 5-star freshman from Florida has been maybe the story of spring practice up until now. But Jet Walker out of Georgetown, Central Texas, don't sleep on him. He was described as one of the very best players on the field on Saturday, breaking tackles, long touchdown runs, doing a little bit of everything. So
that's good for the future.
Yeah, that's a positive too. I mean, yeah, Texas is like Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers are one and done guys. So, Derek Cooper, Jet Walker, James Simon, Michael Terry, if he turns into anything at running back, he's one of those guys that I'm fascinated to see on Saturday. Like, some of those guys are going to have to step up and give you some confidence that, all right, maybe we don't need to spend a bunch of money on 2 top flight running backs in the portal every year like we just did. Right. That's the hope. Right. And I think Derek Cooper has the most potential of any of these backs in terms of like NFL, but Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, right now, very good college players, first team all conference a year ago. They should be getting the majority of carries this year.
Oh yeah.
They didn't play a ton in that scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah, but you can believe one of them is going to something's going to happen with an ankle or something. That's the way of the running back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you got to have at least 3. I mean, you tell me, like going into a year, Buck, of course you're going to have more guys on scholarship, but how many guys do you need to feel good about in your running back room going into week 1?
3 and another guy that can come in and play. 3 was always fine. I never, until I started doing dumb stuff like getting Priest Holmes hurt in spring games and stuff like that before the season even started. Yep. 3 was always good for me. I never, and having a 4th guy that could come in and do some special stuff that I could take the pressure off one of those 3 always helped. But I didn't need 4 or 5 guys. I couldn't do it. They were a pain in the ass enough with 3 guys, much less try to have 5 guys that wanted playing time and have to listen to that the whole time.
Yeah. So 3.5, maybe, like 3 that you feel really good about. And
a 4th guy that could come in and do some special things that you can really count on, and you wouldn't be afraid to put them in a game.
Yeah, I think that's where Texas is right now. Like, I mean, there's 2, but with everything we've heard about Derek Cooper, I think
they've got 3.
Confident. Yeah, I can feel pretty confident saying they've got 3. So now it's like, okay, who's the 4th? I mean, they're going to use Ryan
guy
Niblett.
Who's been here in the system already.
Well, that might be Ryan Niblett, who's like not your traditional running back, but like he'll maybe get the 4th most snaps at running back because of just the type of skill set that he has. So maybe you could get away with him being your sort of number 4. I mean, again, you've got James Simon. You've got Jet Walker, who had a great scrimmage. Michael Terry's there too. So you've got some other options. But I would think like Ryan Niblett would be the guy getting the 4th most snaps at running back this year, if you're asking me on.
Yeah, and I would be the guy pushing him to just keep returning punts, get better and better at that, and leave my room alone. I know they try to do it in all different ways with him. They're trying to every way they can to get him the ball. But I would say I want you to be the best punt returner, in the world. I want you to be Devin Hester. That's the how I want you to be. Don't spend any time doing goofy stuff, getting hurt with my running backs, trying to protect and putting you in situations like that. I'll find my 3. You stay as the greatest punt returner ever. That's what you can do for me.
Well, I don't think that's what Steve Sarkisian is thinking with Ryan Niblett right now.
Well, we'll see when the season starts. We'll see.
I mean, he played last year, though, like a decent amount on offense. Not a ton. Maybe a decent amount is a stretch, but he was in there in multiple games. And Sark has talked a lot this spring about Ryan Niblett working with the running backs. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you don't want to lose him as an elite returner. You'd feel silly if
I would feel stupid if he was in a game and something happened to him and I lose my punt returner, because there was nothing that he did that when he came in those situations that were unbelievable. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'll find another running back in that case.
Yeah. Well, it's the other end. I mean, the glass half empty, and like the negative way of thinking about it, if you will, is, yeah, what if he gets hurt? Then you lose an All-American returner, which would suck. But I think Sark is like, well,
what can he do on the other side?
Well, yeah, it's like, look at how good he is with the ball in his hands. Like, he makes all these guys miss. He runs away from people. He runs by people. Like, I can add that to my offense for just a few plays a game, then why not?
Yeah, well, he would be my number 3 if that were the case.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's better than any of your top 3. Like, those guys are all traditional running backs. I don't think Ryan Niblett's he's a gadget guy. Like, he is think like Cavante Turpin. I know he's a receiver technically.
I got you.
Like just that type of, okay, he's so good as a returner. Like, maybe we should find more ways to get the ball in his hands. Like, I think that's the way Sark and company are treating it here. So,
well, then we hope to see him in some different formations offensively, where he gets the ball, where they find a way to get him the ball.
Well, here's what I think. Like, I think most of Ryan Niblett's snaps on offense should be in 21 or 20 personnel, where there's 2 backs on the field. Like, I don't want too many. I don't trust Ryan Niblett enough as a blocker, and I don't trust him as an in between the tackles running back. And I think, like, every play, you should at least have a threat of somebody on the field that you can hand the ball off to, unless it's 3rd and 400. But like, 2 backs, you got Raleek Brown and Ryan Niblett. Like, those are 2 tough guys to stop, plus Camp Coleman and Ryan Wingo on the outside. Like, that's where it's, if you're a defense, you're who's getting the ball here. But it can't be something you and I complained about a ton last year, was like, whenever number 21 was on the field on offense, it was like, he's getting the ball.
Yeah, 11 guys ran to him and forgot everybody else on the field.
So I'm okay with putting him on offense, trying to find a role for him, but it can't be like, oh, he's out there for 4 snaps and he's getting the ball on 3 of them.
Yeah,
that's what it was last year.
You got to make the defense think that he is getting it, but he's not getting it. He's going to do something to the defense to cause them to be in a bind. That's just as important as him actually getting the ball.
Yeah. And I think Sark likes that. Yeah, using him as a decoy, because if he think about some of the returns he had, like, let's say early in a game this year, he breaks off a 40-yard punt return, and then all of a sudden you see that guy on offense, the other team's like, oh, well, watch him. Watch out for that guy. Well,
yeah, he's in the game. Coach, he's in the game, and they're all screaming.
Yep.
And you do that, and the ball is going somewhere else, because now you've overplayed your hand with that dude, and somebody else is getting singled up somewhere. That's what you use him for. I just didn't have very many gadget guys. My gadget guys were gadget guys that, when, like you said, if I brought in a 3rd back, BK, to do something special on a special down, that dude knew exactly, and they knew exactly why he was in there. He was there to get the job done. He was there to beat a one-on-one, and that was your job. And if you couldn't do it, you weren't getting out there very much after that.
How many snaps would you give guys like that per game? Remember?
Probably 4.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Maybe that's Ryan Niblett. Maybe he's a 4 or 5 snap a game kind of guy. And it different roles, I guess, versus the ones you're talking about. But like, maybe it's just like, that's it. We'll put you out there.
You got to make the defense work too. To think of, if that guy's in, it can't be like you did him last year. When he was in, you threw some swing screen and 11 guys just ran directly to him, and it didn't go anywhere. Oh, that was nice to say, hey, we had him in there to do. Okay, well then throw it to somebody else. Don't throw it to him.
Yeah, that's what you just, not the last thing, but what you said before. It's like, it's why I'm so bullish on this offense, because there's just so many different guys that you can give the ball to, and so many guys.
I think there is, even without him. And I know he's special, but he's too special in the punt return game for me to take a chance on, even do, unless it's not coming to him. If he had a couple plays where he got in the game and all of a sudden he went in motion, that defense better be doing something. But
Yeah.
the ball really wasn't going to him. The plan was not – we just wanted to do something to the defense. That's different than putting him in 4 times and throwing it to him 4 times or handing it off to him 4 times, and he gets stuffed because you said, well, we just wanted him to get the ball. No, screw that. Let him get the ball on punt returns.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. There are a lot of people who agree with you, where it's like, just leave him out there as a returner. He's too valuable. We don't want him getting hurt. And, hey, we've got enough on offense to where we're fine without Ryan Niblett. But
and they do. But an offensive coach wants more.
Yeah, and I want more. So
yeah,
I guess
of course
I'm an
you
offensive
do.
coach. I want 40 points per game this year. I want more.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm setting the goal high this year for the
No,
Longhorns.
I'm getting this kid Cooper. I'm getting in the game. If everything you hear about he and the wide receiver, I'm making more plays for those dudes.
Yeah,
that have played the position naturally. I'm going to get a lot of leverage. I'm going to get a lot of plus plays out of those 2 guys. They have 2 freshmen that sound like they're ready to play major college football immediately.
I think if Texas was playing a game on Saturday, Derek Cooper would get real carries and Jermaine Bishop would get real snaps on the outside.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of makeup room in that right there, BK.
Yeah, there is. Those guys are special talents right there, and you couple them with everything else you have coming back and all of the transfers. The more experienced players that you have.
Absolutely, another wide receiver that's played big time games.
Yeah. It all comes down, the offense comes down to the offensive line, I think, because we feel great about the quarterback. The running back room's great. The receivers are great. Tight ends, jury's still out, but I think they're solid enough. And I think they, Spencer Shannon and Michael Masunis as blocker, they're going to fill roles as that too. So they're going to
once again, I can make up for the passing game part if they're good blockers.
Boom. You've got enough other guys to throw the ball to where, I think those guys will have 20 catches. I mean, the leading tight end will have 20 catches this year for Texas.
Sure, that's
not
fine.
Going to be like Brock Bowers or anything, or Gunnar Helm, to use a Longhorn example. But the offensive line, can this offensive line block well enough to allow these skill position players the time to do what they need to do? That's the biggest question I think.
He's got the type of players that Sark's looking for offensively, where they may be young. But if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Mm-hmm. You're good enough.
I know that well.
Yeah. No, you and Diddy were hanging out. I saw you shopping for baby oil last week. What's that all about?
If you're good enough, you're old enough. And certain players, it immediately that they've got it. And it sounds like they already know with this running back and wide receiver they got. It's just a matter of getting them in the game as quick as possible and trusting them. All the situations are going to be hard, whether it's Texas State or Ohio State. It's all the same. Get them in quick and get them playing.
Well, that's the thing. That's why you one of the many reasons why you like having Ohio State in week 2 instead of week 1 this year. It's you should be up a very hefty margin against Texas State in the second half. That's your opportunity to where I know the gap between Texas State and Ohio State, but still, you can't replicate playing in an actual game on a Saturday.
No. And those guys making big plays. Those young guys making big plays against Texas State will take your team. Your team will thrive on those guys making plays. They don't have to always be making them against A&M or Oklahoma and games like that. Just them getting in games 11 on 11 with another team and showing their stuff that you've been seeing them do against your own guys for weeks is a big deal.
For sure. My hope is Texas is up by 35 plus going into the fourth quarter.
Sure.
And then the fourth quarter is, okay, KJ Lacey, you're playing quarterback. Okay, Derek Cooper, you're getting every handoff this quarter. Okay, Jermaine Bishop, Cohen Brown, Chris Stewart, you young receivers, we're not going to throw it a lot, but okay, when we do throw it, we're going to throw it to you. You're going to play here.
Yeah, I hope those guys in the second quarter are doing some of those things even.
That'd be nicer, right? The whole second half, maybe in the second quarter, if Texas really gets off to a fast start. Yeah, I guess you don't have to wait till the end. You can rotate guys throughout the game. But
and when a team is not, when you have a team beat, they're not catching you. You're not worried. But I need to get some guys in this game and get them going. Maybe we'll beat them by 40 instead of 50. You know what I mean? You're going to win the game. But my guys need to get experience. This is the time to do it. I want to do it in this quarter.
Texas didn't. Again, Ohio State was week 1, which obviously made things a lot tougher in general. But San Jose State was annoying for a while. The UTEP game was really annoying. You had to play your starters pretty much that entire game.
As much as I like to talk about Texas State, I'll be pissed if they're annoying.
Oh my God. Yeah.
At all.
I know it's one game and whatever, people overreact to week one. It's just how it works in football.
No.
But yeah, you struggle with that team. I don't know how you're going to feel confident with the second team coming to town in week 2.
No, if the coach is too busy explaining to you why the second week is more important, than the first, about how, we get better in the second week. If he's explaining that about Texas State, look out.
Yeah. Look out indeed.
Okay, I know who we were trying to talk about. It was about the 2 lovebirds.
Oh, yep. We'll get to the latest with the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel situation in a moment. We also have why today's not so bad. We'll wrap up with some fun on the BBK news. But before we do that, Buck, how about our final round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, I love the folks, of course, over at Relax the Back with the zero-gravity recliners, Tempur-Pedic pillows, mattresses, the whole works. Anything that's going to help you with your back, your neck, your shoulders, your thoracic, your lumbar area, please do go by Relax the Back. They have 2 great locations. One is in the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods. The other is in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center, right across the street from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back, which they will be giving away another one of their very nice chairs at the Mullet Open.
Yes.
They love to. Every year they've given away a wonderful chair, and that chair is it's a costly chair, but believe me, it's a lifetime chair. Once you get one of those chairs from Relax the Back, it's really a pretty lifetime chair that, especially when you olds like myself get into it, that's going to be your chair for life, and you're going to love the chair. And you're going to love the accessories that Relax the Back also.
Yeah, absolutely. Get you a nice office chair, get you a nice massage chair, get you both. You deserve it in this life.
Get yourself a recliner. Why not have it all?
Why not have it all, baby? Why not have it all? You can also have it all with Mike McCall. How's that for a slogan for you, Mike? McCall Custom Homes. If you want to have it all in your home, McCall Custom Homes can do it for you. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they could turn your place into something truly, truly special. Kitchen remodels, bathroom renovations. Maybe you want to add on to your home. Maybe you want to add some new life to your outdoor space here in the springtime. They do all of that and then some. 40 years of experience, family owned and operated, A+ rated by the BBB. The Buck has had plenty of work done at his place by McCall Custom Homes. God, I wish I could hire them out to my apartment to fix some of the issues that we have here. It'd be incredible. They are the best at what they do. All you have to do is give them a call, 512-633-9580. That's Mike's direct line. You can call him. You can text him. Listens all the time. Big Longhorn fan. And McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com is their website. They're offering free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners. So take advantage of that great deal with McCall Custom Homes. And the ride, Buck.
Oh, yes, the ride, the 2,000-mile ride, therideproject.com, folks, of course. 2,000-mile ride, of course, by our friend Matt King from Mexico to Canada. Please, folks, he's going to raise $1 million, and he's going to give $1 million away through communities, to communities throughout the ride. And all the different states he hits, he's going to find whether it's a family that needs it or a community that can use it, a community project that's going on. Mike is going to do just that. And this is an incredible way to give, and not only to give in the great state of Texas, but throughout the country in the ride. 2,000 miles on a bike. And BK is going to be there every step of the way in his mind.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah, I'll be following along on social media every step of the way.
There you go. But they need it. Go to therideproject.com and give, folks. It's starting to come up here soon. Weather's starting to get nice here, BK. It's going to be warm. I want this ride, the weather to be, and generally when you do marathons or rides like that, you want it to be a little bit cooler. But when this dude starts to take off, it ain't going to be cool here. It's going to be hot.
It won't be. That's why he's going north and not south, to get away from all of the heat, hopefully, for his sake. Gobundance, therideproject.com. Therideproject.com is the website. And a quick shout out to Dr. Chad and Sleep Cycle Center. If you have sleeping problems, or if your partner has sleeping problems, whether it's snoring or drowsiness or daytime fatigue, you just wake up, you feel like you didn't sleep well enough. It's like, don't just drink 8 cups of coffee every day or 3 Monster energy drinks and be like, yeah, I'm fine, it's all good. No. Undiagnosed sleep apnea is a major, major problem. More than 22 million Americans have it. And I mean, it could cost your life. Like NFL Hall of Famer Reggie White lost his life in his sleep due to undiagnosed sleep apnea. Dr. Chad himself, he lost his own father to undiagnosed sleep apnea. That's why he's so passionate about making sure that your snoring and sleeping problems go away forever. Free consultations for listeners of the show, and you'll get $100 off an at-home sleep study if you mention Bucky and BK when you go see them. Seriously, this is the best decision you can make. Get your sleep back. That's going to help you get your entire life back.
Yes.
SleepCycleCenters.com, 2 Austin area locations. Go see our good buddy, Dr. Chad. All right. We get to the BBK news here as we wrap up a Monday show. And we do have a little bit of an update on the 2 lovebirds, as you call them.
Oh, yes, the lovebirds. What are they trying to pull the wool over our eyes? Are we that stupid?
Well, we, of course, are talking about New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and NFL reporter Diana Rossini. Well, the latest updates from Friday night, the New York Times, which is where Rossini works. She works for The Athletic, which is owned by the New York Times. They have sidelined top NFL reporter Diana.
No, she's been, even if she's that good in so many different ways.
They are investigating the situation and, quote, reviewing her coverage, end quote.
Oh.
Yep.
So
after
the squealers are coming out of the woodworks now.
Yeah, The Athletic immediately began an investigation once these pictures started going viral. I mean, it took a while, I think, for them to actually investigate. They were kind of hoping that they would just blow over, but clearly they did not. That was like the story on the internet last week. And as of right now, she is not working. They have additional concerns that are now being reviewed further.
Yes. Hey, New York Times, just hire TMC. They'll find out. They pay money for their information. They'll get right to the bottom of this and the top of this. They'll get to all of this stuff.
And they were at the resort in Arizona. If you're somehow new to this story, they were captured multiple times, one time in a hot tub, one time holding hands, one time hugging each other. I mean, getting real up close and personal for a reporter and a head coach. And
Very
that
close
resort,
friends. Close
that
friends.
resort they were at is like an adults only resort that is very popular for couples and like honeymooners.
Really?
But they said they were there with 4 other friends. No one saw anybody else, including eyewitnesses, not just in the pictures, but like eyewitnesses who were there, maybe the people who snapped the pictures and sent them into Page 6 or whoever had them. Like, there had been 0 reports of any other friends being there. I know we're speculating just based on a few pictures and some eyewitnesses, but yeah, not great. And also, it came out over the weekend that the 2 of them, there's another picture that surfaced of them hanging out together at a bar in Indianapolis during the combine, which, again, doesn't mean anything. Like, every NFL person's in Indy for the combine every single year. So they could just be hanging out there. Like, a lot of people hang out and get drinks and get food when all the combine stuff is done. But obviously, the court of public opinion is not siding with me. They're siding with your ruh-roh. We got more stuff going on here.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, nothing happening to Mike Vrabel yet. I don't think anything will.
I will say by this time, this has gone on for over a week. Yeah. Those 2 have told their spouses probably the real truth and nothing but the truth. They're just trying to save. They're just in that, do you forgive me? It only happened once. I make a lot of money here. I make a lot of money there. Somebody's thinking somebody's about to get 50% of this or that. They're trying to avoid that stuff right about now.
Maybe. I don't know. You think they've come clean? I mean,
yeah, they've come clean by now. You're not. Okay. Now their spouses aren't idiots. They're not fools. They're not buying that. They're not buying. We're just close friends. You know, she had some pain in her family. I just needed to give her one of those little hugs. No, nobody's buying that.
We'll keep you abreast.
There's pictures. If there's no pictures, that's when you claim, hey, where's the proof? If you heard somebody say, I saw you hugging such and such, or I saw you in a hot tub, then you're going to say, are there pictures? And when the minute there's no pictures, you go, there's no proof of that. What are you talking about? Who saw me? What do you mean?
That's the thing. Like, if you're Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini here, and you're really trying to like put this story to bed, or at least like try to help shift the court of public opinion to your side, how about posting some pictures of the trip with the other people you were supposedly there with? Right? Like, how about you leak some pictures, or you post them yourself? Like, hey, here's a group shot of the 3 other couples we were hanging out with. Like, oh no, zoom out on that picture. There's actually 4 more people in the hot tub with us who were just hanging out, but they were on the other side at the time. Like, that would help, don't you think?
Yeah, but it's too late. Like I said, they've now by now come clean with their spouses about what went on, because 24/7, once you're back, if you're back home with that person, the talking ain't stopping. It ain't like you get to go in your room and chill out for a little bit, or hey, you need to run to the office over there at the Patriots office and get away. You ain't getting away from that.
Yeah, that's the sad part right there. Mike Vrabel has been married since 1999. He's got kids. Diana Rossini's been married since 2020. I don't believe that they have children, but still, it's
which is good. Which is good with that situation. They got no
kids. A wife and a husband who are sad. So now I ask the question: do they need to hook up? Mike Vrabel's wife and Diana Rossini's husband. Does that even the playing field here and make this all a wash?
No, you can do that. You can do all that game. You never get even. You never get it never gets to be, well, I'll fix him and all that stuff, because then you end up in a situation, if you truly want to be with that person for life, you don't do that. But once again, we're all humans, we make mistakes, but you don't combat that by I'll get him back, or that stuff don't work.
Well, a quote that I was always taught.
Experience. I'm just talking about from it just never works.
Well, I was always taught that 2 wrongs make a right. So.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I beg your pardon. Thank you, Rob. Diana Rossini, they do have 2 young kids.
Oh, they do?
In her marriage. Yep.
Well, you do everything you can to make that work, but somewhere down the line, it'll still come back to haunt you. But you don't just run away from that. You got kids. You got to try your best to make it work somehow, some way. But you can't. But you can't lie. You can't continue to keep rolling that nothing is going on. That's the stuff that people are looking at you like, come on, folks. You're grown-ups. You make mistakes. You did something. See if your spouse is going to be a way that, hey, this is whatever. But don't give it like, if there's no pictures. Once again, BK, hey, you got any pictures of this?
Yeah, this might need to be a new segment on the show, like marriage counseling with the Buck. You're like Dr. We're calling you Dr. Ruth. You're Dr. Buck here with your advice on this. I like where you're coming from.
I think certain people understand, you get into this, it's a partnership, and it doesn't matter. Everybody, like I said, once again, people make mistakes. That doesn't mean it won't still come back to haunt you later on, or that person that says they forgive you now, 6 weeks later will bring that up, but you don't want to be playing these games with your kids. You don't, whether they're little kids, old kids, adult kids, you just don't want to play these games. And if you're not meant to be with that person, move along.
Move along. All right. Before we get out of here, real quick, why today is not so bad. Some birthdays today, my friend. Al Green is 80.
Oh my goodness.
The legendary Al Green.
Al Green, Reverend Al Green.
Mm-hmm. Glenn Howerton, a.k.a. Dennis Reynolds from my favorite TV show of all time, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, turns 50 today.
Sweet.
It's the best show ever. Lou Bega, Mambo number 5. How old do you think Lou Bega is?
62.
I would have guessed mid-60s, maybe late 60s. Lou Bega is 51 today.
Wow.
Was he like 3 when that song came out?
Yes.
There's one song, Mambo number 5.
Oh my
Crazy.
God.
Lou Bega, 51. Josh Gordon, this generation's Ricky Williams, whereas like Ricky to me, already is an all-time great, but like if weed was legal, Ricky Williams would be a top 5 running back of all time, I think. If Josh Gordon didn't smoke so much weed, or if weed was legal when he played, he'd be a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Oh, my goodness.
He's 35 today. Hunter Pence, 43. Born on this day, now dead. Thomas Jefferson.
There you go.
I believe he was an influencer. And Butch Cassidy.
Like the real Butch Cassidy?
The real Butch Cassidy. Born on this day, now dead, obviously. And then a couple of quick on this day. Pete Rose, 4,000th hit. Tiger Woods at 21, winning the Masters by 12 strokes. Still the largest margin of victory ever. Also the youngest person and the first person of African or Asian heritage to win when he won it. Kobe Bryant scored 60 points in the final game of his NBA career on April 13th before retiring. Jack Nicklaus won his 6th Masters, becoming the oldest player to win it. And then Apollo 13 oxygen tank explosion. Houston, we've had a problem.
No doubt.
1970, the harrowing rescue mission became one of the greatest survival stories.
I did see Splashdown on Friday, even though I was at a soccer game, got back for that, because they had still not got them out of the capsule. It took them an hour and a half. I'm like, dude, I want out of this thing. They took them an hour and a half before they came out of the space capsule, floating around in the ocean, BK. You know what? I'd have hit that ground. I'd have said, open up the door. I'm like, I'm out. I've had enough of you three.
I'm giving you some homework. I'd like you to tell me, because you know how anti-space I am.
Yes, you are.
People kept asking me, did I see the splashdown? Did I see that? I don't know what that means. I'd like on tomorrow's show, I'm going to let you lead the BBK news, and you tell me whatever you want to tell me about whatever mission we just did or didn't accomplish. I got to know. I need you to educate me and the people on all of this, if you would.
Okay.
Homework for you. 70-year-old with homework. You're welcome.
We're going back. We'll be going back to space. In 28, we'll be going back to the moon. Are you excited about that mission?
No.
Because you ain't ever going there.
I'm good here. Earth is fine. I like it here.
That's what I was. Hey, I was getting my toenails done. I was getting my little pedicure with Ma on Sunday morning early. And she had this video of, she's from Vietnam. So she was showing these beautiful scenes of Vietnam and all these beautiful waterfalls and all these places and streams and stuff. And I'm thinking, is all this stuff on the moon? I'm like, there's some places here I haven't been to yet. There's a lot of places I haven't been to. Can I explore some of this first?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I don't need to go. I didn't see anything from the moon shots that they showed me with a bunch of craters. I didn't see any waterfalls. I didn't see any trout streams. I didn't see any golf courses. I don't want to go. What the hell do I want to go there for?
I don't know.
Hey, I didn't see any stadiums. I didn't see any stadiums there.
Yeah, no sports, no golf courses. I mean, no restaurants, no Hat Creek, no Altstadt Beer. Like, what's the point?
What's an old ass dude like me going to do there?
What's anybody going to do up there? Didn't we land there like 50 years ago and no one's there right now? Like, yeah.
Hey, you know what we need to find there? Gas. Ship it on back down.
You know what?
Let's go.
That's fair. If there's gas up there, I will change my take on space. If we can get back under $2 a gallon, then I will change my space take.
Bring it on back. Bring it on back from space if we can find that gas.
Bring it on home to me. All right. We're well over time. Thank you all for tuning in and bearing with us for a few extra minutes on a Monday show. We will be back tomorrow talking more Texas, talking more NFL draft. That's next week. We'll start to dive into those conversations throughout the week here. And who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But that will do it for this one. Thank you all for tuning in. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Welcome.
Welcome.